You don't polish it. Put the, let's put the table. Yeah, when you teach you will get it. Good. And you know, I'm not going. Na pete mi dulo. Mi dumu moi. Mi bien ici. Alors, vero. A vous dire, yo vais bien d'aller. You know, see, but if you plan to go, they're coming at Quail. Mammy. Tomorrow, when you come, you should come and eat there. So, take some and go and leave Kelly. The meat to eat. Try to keep it in such a way that when you get to eat it. Yeah. My name is Vodou. Bokor on this. My phone you did.
What kind of work?
But you can also do a reading. When the church brother died, when I went to Hawaii, when a church twin brother died, then I went to Hawaii. That time I was a small boy. And then the church himself, because he and the brother went to the place before the thing happened. But they didn't tell their father. And then the thing later started worrying him because he fell from the tree. So that night I have to do rituals for the church, otherwise he will also die. So I wear the batakari for him. I remove it from my bag and wear it for him. Then I pray. Then the mirror in the front will crack. That means the separate him and his brother. So brother should go his way. She should stay his way. That's why I did not until today I have not removed.
Never know you are dead.
You are dead.
Yo, Papa.
Yes, okay, yes. No, so now we are live on Facebook and YouTube, as well as on Telegram and Clubhouse. Okay, thank you very much, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us. Good afternoon to you, good morning, and good evening, wherever you are at this moment. This is a Revolution question and answer section on African Magic Temple. I am your host, Christopher Voncujovi. I'm going to be here to answer your questions. So please prepare your questions and whatever you want to use to interact with us, please do. And we are all learning from one another. Nobody knows it all, and no one person can know it all. You can always learn, and if you are a wise person, you will understand that you alone cannot know all, and you are always open to learn. You should always open yourself to learning from other people, whether they are older than you, they are younger than you. It does not matter. Knowledge is infinite, and we should all be open to learn. Make I call a high call. What happened? Should not go and put it somewhere far away, because always they are putting it together. That's why we are making that mistake. Oh, ago mauga soboli sa medo ago mauga kitikata medo ago mauga ese joto amejoto se na no amesete enu ame wo no bevi dokono bevi wo no bevi mebi enu dokono bevi ogbe dokono bevi mebi enu wo no bevi ogbe senye kokpolipo senye datafia me yora ke medo ago e me yo sheme han fora shoko semi fora shobete do ago ya Abraxas, maior, e Adreco Dogo, eu Tadreto, eu vi meu cu, vê só tom, calma, eu me do agu. E meu menos o dia, a Nido Zocacaticas, boa Adre, mas ela fala, minha guemila, que a minha guemila, de Roland, melhor a Cacalo, o Inha Majo Flora for playing Bamando de Cow, o Inha Matecu, etega. Oh, my kind, but you were kind, only a kind, of a kind, super kind, trouble, a kind, and you were kind, if you're kind, and you are Tabaka, a kind. Pelipa, remember, had a dollar couple of manager, if you're about Romato, you may menuda or Hokbao, but walk up, walk, Bomio, Zango, and Cliff, you are a job, Pata, Jomaku, for come of all the money, Chimo, Vodu, Macberry, who could quite performing when you have it, when you want to have a modu, and quite a penny living, but over your two or club woman or the Perical, Jopatave, Leafi, Jovova, Johnny, Jopatavefia, Jopata. Metro Mabeda Molo, Afifa Belidina, Jopatana, Miajolo, Jopata, and Tefamayo, Messama Bogi, to Tawid and Tapabilities, Bulu, Ajima, Ogojupo, Doja, Pencom, and Valentina from Valo, Jonah Puffo, Agosapate Mayolo, I think Mayolo, Grovomoyo can la Fia, kind of. Mayama Gassan, the Jack Passan, the Santa Baha, Mayo Brahini, Mayo Bochi, Mayo, fully Comorica, Gumligodo, Kuchakuma, Comagan, Tobono. Eu tô em Cospoco a Cubiano, e a Cosa Goku Fone como Vegetas, e a Mosi Fusi, Jam Cosa, Bracobra, a Mania Bodin, Batagona Goku Kofi, a Cubia Mensa, Dure, and the Pecuno, Mayor Pony Celestine, Yawa Cubia, Katrina, Cubia, Fonia Secodo, Fonia Yawa Ben, a Cubia. A Kuto and a Fanami Bobo, and I go in a Fanamlo. E Mayor, Miasron Elm, Vachucha, Tupia, Cubia, Cecilia, Queneca, Tepemensa, Kuto and a Fanamilo. Mayor will not to Boko to Jitago to Mayor Kinkin has a bunch of Barasubara, Mayor. Mayor Boko Dafli so far whom I believe a Pacha or Joge. A Kuto and a Fanami Bobo, and I go in a Fanamlo. A Yamayo Boko Anani Tretu, le Gita, Tobe Anani Tretu, le Gita, Bohuno, Mayor Akaka, Mayor Boko, Abraham Jivenu, le Chame. Kuto Benefa, Mayor Tobe Simon Kavi, Fiato. Kuto menefana mimiana bobo nefana mo yo hunu le vapo hunu la vega kuto menefana mi bobo mi na bobo nefana mo e me yo tre bivio brahini bio geje biku bia bio gbe tuta se ke bia se ke gbe nu ko ije me le batunya nu ngwa ga no teshi nu na ha mi no Umbuga kegbe, eme yo hanyi me Vodou petit yo abo chisakra kama chapa be adogo kotokoli don ko kurumaku o agbara no gbere to beno le cho fra tamani fifini kwa bisinkra o kofi to jaba ku cho to kofi cho hen kofi atrame yo kable me yo mi e yeme yo to me ba to ba Vodou to tora ho eburu ma ya azapa za gidi kulu no hoto ko shinyo hoto o kere ku me kwa na hamindile eme yo afana go no fagbo ma je to ko pe to me so le me da pa gidi me yo pali gbe meji eku meji wole meji di meji lo so meji ngoli meji abla meji akla meji guda meji sa meji ka meji trupe meji tula meji lete meji che meji fu meji bali che tula me yo club vide ko ko to ba do bo am to ba de nya de me ke be de mi ada se me no kulo agbeda ji mi yo gbe umbuga ke to bo mi anya gbe ano to me nam anya gbe ano nam ne mafia no de na me no seme ne ameyo abia nyare mchere mata no afia wa ade me na wo kudogudo miawe le ngogbo mele mi yo mi enyi me no ngogbo na mere e kada ma gbere miawe yenyi le ngogbo na gbogbo re lo sinedi to ne je doji la mesese ne ba gbere na gbete fe na mi lo agore ni le miawe ponu lo mi de kokolo popo no yo mi de do popo no yo mi de pe ha popo no yo kudogudo yo okay, now I am ready to go. I am live on all. The Karare jig ban for that to them because we end those as a parable easy utara na force. I'm if me you na dia fibu. Okay, so we read the greetings first, and then we can go on to we go on to the greetings from the top. Me rule no down la. Ne the man put top We have Isaku Ali Kele Sisila saluting us. Hello, Isaku, how are you? Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I hope you are fine with your family. And then we have Jenfi Florence, our sister in Netherlands, saying, good afternoon, family. I hope everybody is doing well and good. Yes, hello, Auntie Florence. We are all fine. And we hope you too, you are fine with all the children. Thank you very much for joining us. And Shamba Musa Mohammed, I think Shamba should be in New York by now. And saying greetings from to Papa, and thank you very Shamba for joining us. Hope you are enjoying yourself in New York. Then we have Bra Ayikwe Junior Ato. We are waiting to learn from you, great one. Thank you very much, Bra Ayikwe. I'm here to teach. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you are fine in your family. And then I have Alfred Abeku Bini. Saying greetings, Papa. Hello, Alfred. Greetings to you too. I like message me the top. Maybe later I got a message on you. Then we have a Selassie Komi saying good afternoon, Papa. Good afternoon, Selassie. Hope you are fine. Thank you very much for joining us. So there we are with the Facebook greetings and everything. And I got a question. I'm the Facebook. Have to teach me how to libate. Master, everything is already here. It's not that we have to teach you anything separate. Everything that I am doing, how to pour libation, it's all on our website. It's all on the programs I'm teaching. And each time when I am going to start my lesson, I pour libation. So there's nothing else to teach you anybody again. Please. I'm not teaching personally here that you have to learn your own separate. I'm teaching generally so that everybody who has who is open to learn should learn. That's it. And then we have Mr. Hades, Hades Yugin, Youngin saying, what's going on, Uncle Christopher? I have a question. The first law of the universe is the mind is all of the 7 Hermetic principles. How is this law utilized and applied in Vodou? Thanks, Baba. Hello, Hades Yugin. You see, Hermetics is Hermetics. We are doing Vodou here. We are not doing Hermetics here. We are doing Vodou. Vodou has its own laws. We are not. Vodou is not following the principles of Hermetics. Please. I have passed through all those things before I came and settled with Vodou. So I am teaching Vodou. I'm not teaching Hermetics here. So I'm not following the principles of Hermetics. But every spirituality talks about the human mind. And the human mind is what you use in assessing the spiritual world. So whether it is Hermetics or it is Afa or it is in Hinduism or it's in our Vodou, whatever it is, everything in the world is mind. If you don't have mind, you are a dead thing. So we have Togwe Faze Jigbeza on YouTube saying, Jigbeza Sesoka saying greetings and good day, Papa and AMT family. Hope you're all well. Faze again saying, can you tell me if crystal gemstones are used in Ewe Vodu Afa? If so, are there any of importance? Okay, Togwe Jigbeza, the truth about it is that just recently, about 2 weeks ago, some Americans came here, were looking for crystals and gemstones. We in Afa, we don't use crystals and gemstones. I've not seen people using crystals and gemstones in Fa or in Vodou. Maybe somebody who has studied somewhere and learned more may inculcate that into their teaching, but the base of Afa, there is nothing like gemstones or crystals. Mind you, Afa, or let me talk about Vodou, maybe in Fa, I don't know, but in Vodou, we are not from Eastern Asia or South Asia or Far East where gemstones become very important for us. What you may get in our Ewe Fa is beads, or in Vodou is beads. Our people don't know so much about gemstones or crystals. We deal with beads. And I have not seen any gemstone anywhere, and I have not seen crystals in any Vodou practice yet. Maybe there is, but I haven't seen yet. Okay, let's go on. And then we have a young Ago saying, Salam Ameza, come please. Somebody is inviting somebody, Salam Ameza, come please. And then we have Abibi Man, Saw, greetings family, greetings Papa. Thank you very much, Abibi Man. Is it Saw or sorry? I don't know how to pronounce, so please if you can show us how to pronounce your name. But the Abibi Man can be pronounced, but that is Saw or sorry, I'm not sure. So thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. And then we have Samuel Tokucha Wonwe. Tokucha Wonwe. Yeah, that's a big name. Samuel Tokucha Wonwe. Hello, Toby. Medogungodo. Sojane Tuchinao. Oh, Sojane Tuchinao, ha. Mauga Sobolisa. Netuchinao. Sojane Tuchina Mikata. Yeah. And then we have a Godson Tabai saying, Papa, my regards to the family, the temple, and the fans. Of late, I've been having terrible dreams, which I have been seeing people who I know very well attacking me and will be challenging ourselves with spells. Papa, how do I go about it, please? Okay, let me see the name again. Godson. I think when you see people in dreams attacking you, attacking you, maybe even there are people that you know, there are people you don't know. I cannot tell, but when you see people attacking you, then there is someone or something that is against you. The best you can do in this case is to get some herbal baths that can ward off the effect of these people who are attacking you in your dream. So there are certain herbs that you can use to cleanse yourself so that the bad dreams will stop. So if you can contact me on WhatsApp or contact me later, I will be able to share these things with you. Thank you very much, Godson. Yeah. So let's go on. Let's go on with the other thing. And I think it's the same Godson we see on Telegram. Say Godson Maukwenya. Okay, I don't know whether it's the same Godson, but there's a Godson Maukwenya and Redeemer Asense. They are on Telegram. And now, okay, now we go on to again. Then we have on Facebook. We have Kwabena Abrokwa. Thanks for your answer. And then we have Hades Yugins. Are you familiar with Mama Zogbe and the Mami Wata Healer Society? Do you work with any Mami Wata spirits? I'm very sorry, I don't deal in Mami Wata, and I don't have any relationship with any Mama Zogbe. We don't call it Zogbe. That is Togo Ewe. Ghana Ewe, we say Jogbe. We don't call it Zogbe. So I'm sorry, I'm not dealing with any society. I don't have any society that I'm a member of, and I don't plan to be a member of any society whatsoever. And I don't deal in Mami Wata spirits. I'm very sorry. Yeah. So then we have J Melody here. Pray for me. Thank you very much. We will pray for you. We had already said a prayer, and when we have ended the program, we will again say a prayer to all or for all of you. Then Bra Aikwe Genio Ato are the 4 elements acknowledged in Vodou. What is the 4 elements are you talking about? Please be specific and be very straightforward. Put the 4 elements down for me to know, because don't we talk about fire in our Vodou Hebia? So is it not fire? When we talk about water spirits like Akai and all these things, are they not? People even mention Mami Wata. Are they not water spirits? We have spirits of the air, and we have Aimbato, which is the spirit of the what do you call it? Earth. So what is the 4 elements are you talking about? Please, when you want to ask questions, Bra Aikwe, I would want you to do some research. Don't bring the Western teachings and come and influence what I am teaching here. I'm not teaching about Western philosophy or spirituality. I'm teaching about Ewe Vodu and Afa here. That's what I'm teaching. So please, I'm not the first person teaching about Vodou or Afa. So make your own research before asking me this kind of questions. If you are asking me, you are bringing me backwards. Yes, okay, so we have about Abibima Sor saying again, wind, water, fire, and earth. Of course, wind, water, fire, and earth is always everywhere, is it not? Are you new to Vodou? Are you not from Africa? Are you not from Africa? Don't you know that our ancestors call the earth Asaseya, and the Eves call it Anyigba? What else do you want to know? Are you new to African traditional spirituality? Please. Okay, then they say the name is Abibima. Sorry. Bring down small. That's Abibima talking. Why? Why are you doing this and doing another thing differently? So the guy say Abibiman sorry is Abibiman sorry as in sorry wake Africa. Okay, so or wake Africa, sorry wake Africa. Okay, thank you very much, Abibiman. Then we go to Selassie Kwame again. Please, how is the 4 cardinal points called in Ewe please? We have in my area, we will call Anyigbe and Jigbe. Means Anyigbe means the south, Jigbe means the north. Then we have the Retorope, which is the west, and Rejepe as in the east where the sun rises from. Ere means sun. Rejepe means where the sun rises from. Retorope is as it means the west where the sun sets. And then Anyigbe means down, south, and then Jigbe means south, north. That's how it is called in my dialect in Ewe. Okay, so that's it. Thank you. Are we done with that?
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm now contacting you people on the Clubhouse. If you have anything to say, please go ahead.
Papa Pele joined us here for the first time.
Who?
Pele.
Yeah, but I'm not hearing you well, Osena.
Can you hear me?
Yes, if you're going to talk loudly so that I can hear you, please.
Yeah, I said Pele.
Pele have just joined us.
Yeah, hello. Hi, everyone. This is Pele joining from Tokyo.
Thank you, Pele.
Right
Thank you
now.
very much for joining us. Yeah, you're welcome to
Thank
the
you.
club.
How are you doing, Papa?
I'm good. And how are you too? We are just we were discussing about sending in your request, the things that you asked. Mama said I should buy and give to the friend. So we'll be buying them tomorrow. Buy them tomorrow and give it to your mother's friend to bring to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining. And if you have anything to discuss, to everybody ask questions that bothers you, so that I'll try to see if I can answer.
Okay.
For those of us who are here, who Brother Echo, Samuel, Ray, Sharam, if you have Shazia, if you have any questions for Papa, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question. I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I remember as we have been growing up, you've given us some proverbs. The proverb that you told me is SEJAFA, Se gives birth, Afa. Can you please explain the meaning of what does it mean that Se gives birth to Afa?
Well, these are what do you call it? Ewe names that people give to their children, because Ese is what gives birth to you. Before you come into this earth, you don't know anything about any Afa, you don't know anything about any Vodou, you don't know anything about any religion. So when you come here, Ese brought you here before you get in touch with any other thing that is here before you came. But Ese came with you. So at the end of the day, it is Ese who gave birth to you before you know Fa. So if they say SEJAFA, means Ese is the one who will give you the way to Fa or to anything. That's the literal meaning of SEJAFA. And also, what do you call it? When people do a reading, it is your police which is called Fa. When the reading say you need to contact your police, then that means Ese is introducing you to join. Your Ese is introducing you to be initiated into Fa. So Ese definitely is the ultimate decision maker, what you should do in this life, whether how you will succeed in this life, how things will come. Even if you are practicing any other spiritual practice, if your Ese is not in alignment with those things, you are not going to get any results or any good gains out of it. And if your Ese is against them, your everything is not going to be good. So Ese definitely is the giver of birth to Afa or any other spirit for that matter.
Okay, thank you, Papa.
You're welcome.
If we have Kadi, welcome.
Hello, Kadi. Thank you for joining. Yeah.
No problem.
If you please, if you don't speak loudly, I cannot hear you here, because the way it is today, I don't know what is causing the problem, but I cannot hear people on the Clubhouse very loudly. Even Sena is not really loud enough for me.
I'm sorry, can you hear me well now?
Yes, somehow we can hear you now, but not really clearly like before. But
Maybe they should put the phone closer to you, Papa.
It is close to me. Everything is close to me. We are even putting it on a JBL speaker so that we can get you people more louder, but it's still not very well. But let's continue.
Good morning. Greetings, I should say, because it's not morning in Ghana. But my question is, Papa, can you explain like cord cutting? Like people say that you could cut the cord from being attached to somebody.
I don't know who do that. I know, you see, Kadi, the problem is that there's a whole lot of people out there who are just teaching all kind of things that are not directly connected to our Ewe Vodu, or even I may say not even connected to African traditional spirituality. That cord cutting, I'm not very familiar with it, where somebody is attached to someone and then they say they will do something like a cord cutting. In fact, I have never really come across it yet. I have heard people talking about cord cutting, but I personally, in my spirituality for the past 40 plus years, I have not come into anything which is called cord cutting, whereby because you are attached to someone, they can separate you from the person by doing any ritual called cord cutting. I'm not very familiar with that.
Papa,
yes.
So what if maybe the name might not be cord cutting, but perhaps what Kadi might be referring to is like, for example, maybe in our terminology, maybe let's say someone has binded someone, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe you find out that someone has binded you. How can you remove that binding? Maybe that might be similar.
Okay, if it is a binding that someone has been binded and they want to neutralize the force that has binded you, yeah, there are so many Vodou practices and rituals that are done to know exactly what is being used to bind you. When they do a reading and they find out that, because sometimes we do a reading and we say that, oh, someone has binded you, and then drop the binding into a river, or gave the binding to a river spirit so that that river spirit should control you. And then if such things happen, you will be having a lot of dreams, and even maybe dreams of being in a river, dreams of bathing, and people sometimes misunderstood it to say because you are seeing yourself in river every time means Manuata is following you. It's not always like that. It is either someone is binding you and drop you inside an ocean or inside a river or even in just a bucket of water so that you cannot be. There are so many kind of bindings in Ewe Vodu. One is like there is one that they use skin of animal to bind you, and when they bind you with the skin of animal, so in the daytime you will see that they will drop it. When they drop it in the water at night, you will be sleeping, and then in the daytime when they bring it out from the water, you, the whole person, will be feeling very loud, very drowsy, and kind of not active. So sometimes people will get sick in the daytime, the time that they are supposed to work and make money, they will be sick. And then at night, when there is no work to do, then they are strong. So there are so many kind of bindings in Vodou, not only every Vodou, but I think in Vodou in general, from any part of Africa. They may not call it Vodou, but there are all kind of bindings. So when you notice or you identify that you have been binded by someone, or you don't even know who is binding you, you do a reading, and the reading will be able to tell that this is what is happening in your life, and then also the reading will give a direction to the person who is doing the reading for you to be able to unbind you or to neutralize that energy through ritual. So this is what I am aware of. So if that's what the Kadi is trying to explain, okay, maybe in the what do you call it? In the English language, it's called cord cutting. But then we have something we call black cho. Black cho. I'm sure those who understand Ewe who understand means if you are being binded, the Vodou priest or the Bokor who is doing the binding after finding his information and what to do, they are going to bind you physically. with some cords or with some ropes or even with some leaves. They'll bind you from head all the way down to your 2 legs. And then physically, the priest is going to use knife to say, today I cut this rope that is binding you, or this cord that is binding you. I have cut it. And they will cut it all down from your head all down to your big toes, because all will be binded and you are standing straight, then these things will be cut. Usually we do these things for people who are pregnant, and when we realize that pregnancy the person has been binded in such a way that maybe if she is going to go give birth to a child, she may find it very difficult to deliver the baby safely, and there will be complications. That is when we usually do this blacho, and then when we do it, and in most cases, I think 99.9%, we are able to unbind the people, and the people usually give birth safely. So, Kadi, this is what I know about it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Papa, for your explanation. Yes, I was talking about mine.
Okay, thank you very much, and please stay around. And Senna, you have to increase the sound from your side, because I think it's coming from your side. I cannot hear anything very well. Please.
Yeah, I don't know the way that we can increase the thing. I think perhaps maybe it's the speaker that we are using that's affecting the sound. But I think for those of us here, what we can do is just try and speak just a little bit louder so that you can hear our questions. So if there's anybody else that has a question, please go ahead. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, but Pele's own is quite. Pele's own is quite. Pele's own is quite loud. I could hear Pele well.
You can hear me well, eh?
Very well and very loud.
Oh. That's weird. Okay, but
technology.
This one it's an iPhone, so it's American, I guess.
Oh, but then we are using the iPhone here, and
I don't know.
Senna is also using iPhone, but then the problem is that you are speaking and it's very clear. But when other people speaking, I cannot hear them very well. But anyway, let's try.
Well, maybe I'm making an effort to speak loudly into the speaker directly.
Okay.
But so the question I wanted to ask you is a little bit different from everything you've been talking about today, but it's about your experience in like India or Malaysia. And I know you went obviously around the world in search for spirituality and truth and stuff. And that entailed like leaving everything that was back in Ghana behind to go and find the truth elsewhere. Was there any point, or at which point did you realize that no, it might be back at home? I know when you came back to Ghana and then Togwe Tuji was teaching you, then you're like, oh, wow, everything has always been here. But was there a time when you were out there that you felt maybe there's something in Ghana that's not out here or something like that?
Okay, that's a good question. When I was born, my parents were both Christians. My mother is a Catholic and my father is a Protestant. But then in the background of my father, both my father and mother was into African traditional spirituality, which is called Vodou. Where in our area, we don't even call it Vodou, we call it Bokor. Bokor or Tron. That's their background. But maybe as they were born at the time, they need to be sent to school and all this thing, and their parents decided that they shouldn't, should not follow, or why they themselves decided not to follow, or they just pretended they don't know. Because I quite remember that my mother, when I was young, she always took me to my aunties who had shrines for me to be bathed and all kind of. If I'm sick, they take me from one shrine to another. And only my father never really took us anywhere. But then our grandfather was still alive practicing. So sometimes we visit him, but not because we wanted to learn any spirituality from him. We only knew that he was a very powerful spiritualist. All the grandfathers that I knew on my father's line, they were all spiritually powerful people. But we were too young to ask them any question. And as I grew up, somewhere from the age of 12, I started having this kind of disturbance in my mind where I just want to know something about God. The desire is very strong, and I didn't even feel like going to school at that time. And I would just take the Bible and be reading, and even go out into my father's farm, stay there and be reading the Bible and all kind of this. But then the church that I was going to, which was our church, where the compound or where we were born or we were raised, is the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. And my father was a choir master in the church. He teaches music, he plays the organ and all kind of things. So he was given a land at the mission ground where he built his house, and that's where we were raised up. So our church and house wasn't far, but I did not like going to the church because when we went, we would just have to sit down, and I did not understand anything that they were telling at that church. So when I was at the age of 12 and I started having this feeling, I started reading a lot of books and the Bible and the Psalms in the Bible. And one of my senior brothers have got a book called The Key to the Psalms, and I was looking at it and doing fastings, a whole lot of things. To cut a long story short, I wasn't satisfied with the Christian teachings in the church or the Presbyterian church. So I joined a charismatic church. First, we joined we call it spiritual church, the Aladura and Mozambique Christo Church. They were all having branches in our village. So my elder sisters and cousins were going there. So we also followed them. And a whole lot of things, but still I could not really understand anything. Then my father realized that I was having challenges with myself, and he introduced me to a book. I think I spoke about that before, the Narrow Path. And then when I read that book, the book told me to go to yoga. The book didn't say I should go to yoga directly, but the book said that if the student is ready, the master will always appear. So I started doing fasting, 7 days dry fasting, so that I could get my inner self to talk to me. And then eventually I had the voice telling me I should go to yoga. And I did not know what yoga was at that time. I've never heard it before from anybody. So somehow the doors were open, and there was someone who came to my village. There was a poster in town that there was a teacher coming from Accra who is coming to teach meditation and yoga. So the day the teacher came, I went there. I was initiated into Ananda Marga, and I was given my first lesson and my first mantra, and I started practicing. And that led me all the way to Accra when I decided to become a junior priest of the Ananda Marga, this thing called LFT. So from there, I was sent to Nigeria to take care of the ashram, or the Jagriti as it is called in Ananda Marga, Jagriti. I was sent there to go and take care. We had a senior monk who died, and they asked me to go and take over his place to be as a junior priest. So from there, I finally went to India. But then I also taught a little bit in Nigeria. I went to the teacher training college while I was there during my early priesthood days, and I was also attending normal school. And then I became a teacher in Nigeria for 4 years, and after that I left for India to be trained as a full Hindu monk in Anandamaga. So when I had finished my training, I was so good in the teaching, the lessons that they taught me, that the training center at Varanasi in India, in Uttar Pradesh, my teachers, my avadutes, and the people who were our directors made me to teach at that school for a short time before, at the training center for a short time before I came down to Calcutta to Tiljala, which is the headquarters. So I was in Tiljala. I was supposed to be posted to Taiwan, but then they couldn't post me to Taiwan because they say I was so stubborn and I would not listen to directions, in the sense that when I see any human activity in a spiritual way and I realize that this is has nothing to do with spirituality, but it is just human nature trying to play a role, and because they are senior to us, they want to kind of bully us, so I will always revolt. I was that kind of person, and I always revolted against the system, and so they felt that I was a very stubborn priest, and I probably wouldn't follow my senior orders properly. So my seniors, their orders properly. So they decided to keep me at the training center to kind of bend me so that I can become sober and be able to follow orders even if I do not like it. And so it was from that very moment I told them that I wanted to go back home. If I came all the way to this country to train, and it's not that I don't know they don't know that I am good or not. They knew that I was good. And if they cannot send me to the field to go and teach and help humanity, then I think I need to go back home. And it was then they realized that my call that I wanted to go home was very strong. I started disturbing my seniors who were directly in charge of me, that they have to buy my ticket for me to get back home. And then they decided to send me to Thailand, because according to Anandamaga in those days, Thailand was the most difficult field for any a new priest. So usually they will send only senior priests to such a field. But then they decided, I don't know whether it was a punishment or whatever, but they sent me to Thailand. But for me, it worked out well for me. I can survive anywhere that I go. And then I was even able to buy a house for the mission when I was in Thailand. And after buying the house for the mission, I asked for my resignation, that I don't want to be a priest anymore. So they didn't want to leave me at that time. So they posted me to New York, and I was supposed to be stationed in Jamaica. And from Jamaica, I can work to New York, but I refused to go. So finally, I was relieved of my duties as a acharya. Acharya means teacher or spiritual teacher. So I was relieved of my duties as an acharya, and then I set up a school in Thailand to teach English language, and then also I was doing magic at night in the nightclubs. So that's how I decided that, okay, finally I have seen the end of this one. There's nothing really inside, because I found out that there's so much of human nature playing a role in spirituality, and people can attribute spirituality to things, but when you look deeper, it becomes a human nature, a human behavior. It has nothing to do with God, has nothing to do with anything than just one human being trying to be superior to the other human being. So that's why I left. And then I eventually went to Japan to work as a magician. I was contracted to work as a magician, and that's how I ended up in Japan. And then when I met your mother, she was one of my students. I met her. And then somehow we started liking each other. And that's how our story is until we got married and you people were born. And then I decided to come back home, to be preparing home to move back home. So every year when I was in Japan, you people were still young, I will always come home and trying to get home. Even before Senna was born, before you were born, I always come back home, try to get my country, my base ready. So it is through these times that I met my own people who are practicing Vodou, and then I started learning. And then I realized that no, even this thing had always been here. But then when we all came back to Ghana finally, and then I met Togbe Tuji, that's where I realized that, oh, so this thing had always been here, all the things that I had been looking for in the world, the truth of nature had always been here. So that is when I decided to take Vodou more serious than any other teaching, because I have experienced all already and I know what they have. But then Vodou, even no matter how much I learn, I'm still always yearning to learn more. I'm never seeing the bottom. I'm never coming to the end of it. So that's what entices me and keep me running, because I cannot see. Every day there's something new. Every day there's something surprising. It's not stagnant. Vodou is not stagnant. So that's what makes me so attached to it. So this is my story in a very, in a nutshell. Maybe I have it when I want to elaborate it to take all the time. So at least just this is the gist of whatever I have done, and this is what I'm doing.
Okay. Thank you very much, Papa.
You're welcome.
It was a very interesting journey.
Yeah, thank you, Pele. Thank you. So, anybody on Clubhouse want to ask any question? Because I want to move to Facebook and also to YouTube. So, if anybody is there.
Yeah, greetings, Tugboat.
Yeah, greetings. May I know who is speaking, please?
Oh, this is Nana Kokosechi.
Hello, Nana. How are you?
I just wanted to greet everyone, and I do have a question.
Go ahead, Nana.
Okay, so I'm very curious about how you have a calendar in West Africa that follows the cycles of either the moon or the sun.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
I'm here. For the Akans as well as the Yoruba, there's a 42-day cycle where sometimes every 7 days, which will give you the number 28. And then sometimes every 4 days, if you multiply it by 7, that will also give you 28. So when you see the lunar cycle, you will see that the moon will complete a phase within 28 days.
That's very true.
So my question is that because it takes 42 days for the day to repeat itself, is there something in Ewe culture where there's a calendar that's followed?
Okay, yeah, the every month is also based on 28 days. It's every 7 days times 4 will give you 28 days. That's why in the Ewe calendar we have 13 months, not 12. In the Ewe calendar we have 13 months, but because of the popularity of the Gregorian calendar, the Ewe calendar or the Ewe people who are making the almanac are now trying to also make it into 12 months, which I personally do not support, because we didn't have 12 months in a year, because our months are always 28 days. So in the Ewe calendar, I am not very sure whether there is the like the Akan Akwasidai and all this thing, whether that is in Ewe calendar too as general. But the Afa and the Vodou that I'm learning, we have got certain days that are called bad days for spiritual work. And honestly speaking, I don't know what is the system that it follows, because in certain months you have only 3 bad days. Some months you can have up to about 6 bad days. Even in some months you can get almost about 10 bad days. So it is not like the Akan calendar where it is based on 28 days. And honestly speaking, I don't know the origin of this secret this secret in Vodou to say that this day is not a good day. But I have those dates in each month, and all the years is the same. Every month or every year, January has the same dates. February will have the same dates until December, all have the same day. So it does not really change as the years change. It remains the same. And that's what I use, I am following when I'm doing my spiritual thing. But I am not sure whether it is a general Ewe system or Ewe calendar, and I don't know how it comes about. Unlike the and all this thing, they are spiritual practices for centuries. But the Ewe one, I'm not sure what I am following or what I have been general my teacher and the people he is teaching. But however, in every community where in Ewe culture, they have days that we call those days that people do not go to farm Afenogbe, means the day that you stay home. Afenogbe, the days that you stay home. And in every week, they have a day or two in every week that people do not go to the forest or go to the bush or go to the river or for fishing or anything, and people stay at home. So that is very common. And I think even in the Ga tradition in Accra where I live, Tuesdays, every Tuesday, people do not go to the sea. They don't go fishing. People stay home. So in every community in Ewe land, and I believe in Africa or in Ghana, at least in Ghana, every community have a special day that they do not till the ground and they don't go to sea in order to let the sea rest or let the Mother Earth rest. But then the general following on the moon cycles, I don't know, but the Ewe also have only 28 days in a month, not 30, 31, 29 at all. So this is how much I know about the calendar, Nana Kokosachi. Thank you for the question. Yeah, Piafo. Okay, is there anybody again on Clubhouse? Okay, please lower the listen. Let me read from the top. Listen to read from the top. Please, somebody who is there should. Yes, we have Selassie coming. Say, please, how is the 4 cardinal points called in Ewe? We have answered that one. Then we have Hades Yugin saying, how did being a monk and practicing Hindu culture benefit you as Vodou practitioner? What kept you as a monk for so many years? Any practices you still use today? Okay, Hades Yugin, you see, I just explained to Clubhouse where my son Pele was asking the question. I joined Hinduism because I wanted to learn spirituality and practice spirituality in its real form. But when one thing with me is that I always want to see the bottom of anything before leaving it. I don't want to go in halfway and then come out and say, oh, there's nothing there. And how do I get to the bottom of the thing is to be able to stay with that same thing for some time and get involved in it, not just being a surface member, but being a direct member who can take decisions. And then until I get into the bottom of that, I will not know whether I know it all or I do not know it all. So that's why I stayed with the Ananda Manga, which is a Hindu-related spiritual practice for some time, from 1975 up to 1989, that I stayed with Ananda Maga to learn. And I learned a lot, and I have gone deeper, and I have been initiated, and I also could give initiation to people as per the Hindu way of initiating people in Ananda Maga. I was a priest to the level of where I can also initiate people into the Hindu practices of Ananda Maga. And then it is after I have gotten to the bottom of that, I realized that that's not exactly what I wanted, because the human nature played a whole lot of play in that practice, as well as any other spiritual or religious practice. I wanted to be spiritual. I didn't want to be religious. But then when people talk about spirituality, until you get into it, before you come to realize that it is more or less a religion that you are just living or getting away from, is the same thing in a different form. That's what I have learned, that people say they are spiritual or they are doing spiritual practice, and when you get into them and you start practicing, you get to a point that you realize that this is more like just the religion that you are trying to escape from, but only now they are using different names and different terms, but then the image of your worship becomes another human being that you are. Let's say you are a Christian, you are running away from Jesus Christ matter, and then you come into Hinduism, then they say this guru is the one, without that guru you cannot see God. So it becomes same like a religion. Unlike in Vodou, there is no particular human image where you need to go through to get to God. You and your God are direct. You are dealing with God directly. If there is any intermediary, then it is the Vodous or the spirits or the energies, which they are not human beings. They are not beings that you can see and identify and say, this is Kojo, this is Kwame, or this is Uncle, this is Alex, or this is whatever. But unlike in other spiritual practices, your guru becomes your God, and you begin to worship the guru more than what you really wanted. And then all the teachings is surrounding the guru. Without the guru, this thing will not happen. It is the guru who is going to give you samadhi. The guru is the one going to give you all kind of things. That's what I didn't want in spirituality. I want to be spiritual. So for this reason, I chose to become spiritual. And then being spiritual gave me a more free mind to be able to decide what I want to do with my life. So Vodou, as my culture, people, it is not something that is forced on me or forced on anybody, but then you come to a realization that your inner self kind of vibrates with it. Your inner self is kind of in alignment with these teachings. So this is why I stay in the Hinduism to know, and after knowing, and when I am no more satisfied with what the teachings were, I came back into Vodou. So I have learned that I don't want to create a God. I don't want to create a human being that should be worshipped. That's why this African magic temple that I have formed, though I am the leader of this organization, we don't have any membership, and there is no position of leadership, and this person is a secretary, and this person should come after that. And that's why I don't want to create a group where members will be there. Everybody can associate by coming to learn and go and practice on their own and try to develop themselves on their own. But it is not like I become a guru and everybody will be looking at me as if I am the God or anybody else. The person or the thing you should look to is look at God and nature and respect That's why I'm teaching this, and this is what I have learned in my Hindu practices, that there's a lot of spirituality is actually religious practices. Thank you very much, Mr. Hades Yugin. Thank you. And then let's go down to Abibima. Sorry, Papa, is Vodou that part of the human body? No, Vodou that is not part of the human body. The Vodou that means snake. Da in Ewe is snake, and Vodou da, as in Ewe Vodu, represents the snake energy. So it is not anything that you say is part of the human body. But then if you want to take it into Hindu practices, whereby you are going to talk about the Kula Kundalini, which is the divine serpent, which is said to be lying down at the bottom of your spine where the Muladhara chakra is, then you can say Vodou da is part of the human body. But apart from that, in Ewe Vodu, we don't even speak about the Kunda Kundalini, which is in the base chakra of the Muladhara chakra. So we don't talk about chakras in Ewe Vodu at all. But because I have studied from other places, that's why I'm making that reference, that if you are going to look at Vodou da as part of the human body, if anybody say Vodou da is part of the human body, then we are going into the Hindu concept of the Kula Kundalini, which is called the divine serpent that lies at the bottom of the base chakra. And according to Hindu philosophy, if you are developing that snake serpent spirit or the divinity will be rising through the Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddha, Agya, and then the Sahasrara chakra, where when it goes through those things, you can have different feelings. But honestly speaking, I have not seen anybody who was able to raise the Kula Kundalini in this current or modern times. I have not seen anybody yet. So it is just a theory, and it is not the practical as it is said to be. I had been there. Thank you very much, Mr. Abibi Man. Sorry. Then we have our sister Oluchi Osuoke. Great evening, Papa, with peace and love. I'm just coming in. Thank you very much, Oluchi. We are also just starting, so you have not missed anything at all. Thank you very much for joining, and blessings to you and to your household. Thank you very much. And then we have Leslie Omar in Singapore. Greetings, Daddy. It's been a while. I hope you and the family are good. Daddy, please, can one has more than one spiritual protection from different sources, and do spiritual protections have expiring date? Yeah, you can have as many as spiritual practices or protection that you can, provided the protection that is given you is real. And how will you know the protection is real? It is when you test it and something happens and you call upon that protection and it is able to deliver you or protect you, then you can say that the protection is a real one. So you can have as many protection, because I personally, I have gotten so many different protections from different teachers from different backgrounds, and I am using it to protect myself. Those of them that are working for me, I know, and those that are not working, I don't even touch them anymore. But until you try them, you can never know. So you can never say that you will not have protection from different places. What about if the teacher who is teaching you is a liar and you believe in him alone, and whatever he's giving you is not any protection but it's just deceiving you? You get yourself to be blamed. And then, of course, spiritual protections have expiry dates. Even talismans have expiring dates. But then, how will you make a talisman not to expire? Is to continue feeding it and you continue feeding it and then purifying it so that it can always be okay. And if the talisman at a certain time shows that it's no more powerful, it can tell you, if you do a reading, it will tell you it's no more powerful because maybe certain herbs in it have gone the herbs have expired. So then you need to know how to change the herbs in them. But then there are certain talismans that do not have any expiry date. So long as you keep feeding and empowering it, it is always alive. Thank you very much, Leslie Omar. And it's been a while. Hope you are fine too. Maoli, please come. This girl, I don't know whether she does not know that I am on air from 1:30. See, some people just choose to. Again and say, what role does the pineal gland play in Vodou spirituality? What is the word for Kundalini in Ewe? We don't have Kundalini in Ewe Vodu. I've just spoken about it. We are not Hindus. Please stop asking me these kind of questions. We are not Hindus. We don't have Kundalini in Ewe Vodu. Okay? We don't talk about chakra in Ewe Vodu. Ewe Vodu is dealing with herbs, nature. We are not dealing with Kundalini. We are not dealing in abstract things that do not really have any practical thing, a way of expressing them down in stories. I'm sorry. Pineal gland is not in Ewe. Listen, we in Ewe culture, we know that you can open your third eye by using herbs. Finish. Whether it's pineal gland or it's the pituitary gland, it doesn't have any name in our Ewe Vodu, and we don't have anything like Kundalini in Ewe Vodu. I was just explaining to people that if someone somebody was asking question, is the Vodou da part of part of the human body? And I was saying that Vodou da is a snake, or the snake Vodou. And in Ewe, even though it is physically, they have at the snake Vodou shrine, you see physical snakes. And people say this is representing the Vodou da. It's representing the Vodou da. And I was just explaining to the person that if someone will say a Vodou da or the da Vodou, which is snake spirit, is with Yokofinima is in Ewe Vodu, then it will be referred to the sleeping divinity as in Kundalini in Hindu philosophy, where it is said that the sleeping divine spirit is like a snake, and it is in the first chakra, which is called the Muladhara chakra at the base of the spine. But in Ewe Vodu, we don't deal with chakra. The Africans don't deal with chakra. So all these people who are trying to teach African traditional spirituality and involving chakra into it are all liars. They don't know what they are teaching. They are just liars. They don't know what they are talking about. Because in our Vodus, we don't talk about chakra. How are you going to call chakra in African language? Chakra is related to Hinduism. But that what the Hindus are teaching is not a bad thing. So those of us who have crossed cultures and learned from other cultures, we can now inculcate that knowledge into our teaching somehow. But if you go into our traditional teachings, there is nothing called Kundalini. And there is nothing called chakra. That pineal gland thing does not exist in Ewe Vodu, but Ewes have been seeing the world from time immemorial, and they are still seeing the world. Those who are spiritually awakened, whose third eyes are open, they can see. When I was practicing yoga, they talk about pineal gland, they talk about pituitary gland, they talk about all the chakras from Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddha. Agya and Sahasrara chakra. They've been speaking about all this, but none of us had ever had any real experience with these chakras. But then in Ewe Vodu, you don't even do anything chakra, but your eyes can open and you see. Go and ask how many people in India who really have the third eye to see. They preach about it every day. How many people have the third eye to see? It is only in theory. It's something they'll just tell you and you believe it and you follow it until you die. You never really experience it. But in Vodou, you can experience it if they give you the correct keys to open your eyes and your ears. So, Mr. Hades Yugin, please stop asking me these questions. I'm teaching about Ewe Vodu, not Kundalini, and not Hinduism. Thank you very much. What is that one you put there? Okay. Okay. So now somebody Bibima sorry say Kundalini is a chika. I mean, I don't know about anything called chika in Ewe. So anyway, then we have a Sibeki Temba Dube. Greetings, Papa and AMT family. Peace and blessings to you all. Hello, Sibeki. Thank you very much. How are you? How is your madam? My regards to all of you, and thank you very much for joining us. Then we have Abibi Mansori. So yoga is also Ewe language. It is a lie. There is no Abibima. There is the word yoga is not an Ewe language. The word yoga is coming from two Sanskrit, Jo and Ganya, and these two words joined to form yoga. It is not an Ewe word. Stop deceiving people. Stop deceiving people. Which Ewe word is a yoga? From where? It is a lie. Stop deceiving people. Yoga is not an Ewe word. It's not true. Stop deceiving people. If you're coming to my system and telling lies to people, I'll block you. I tell you honestly. I don't like people to be fooling others. Which Ewe word is yoga? Na yoga. Where do you hear that one from? Stop deceiving yourself and stop deceiving people. I don't like people who come into my my space and be using lies to I had been in yoga. The word yoga is a Sanskrit word. It's not an Ewe word. Stop deceiving people. And if I see you put this thing again, I will just block you. Please, let's go on. Hades Yugin again. He said, is there a difference between soul and spirit and mind? Please explain. I will not know. I don't know what is the difference between the soul, the spirit, and the mind. I think they are all interwoven as one. Because even if you say mind, what is mind? Mind is not a physical thing, but the mind dwells inside the brain, and the mind works inside the brain, and the spirit connects to the mind and the soul. So I think I am not here to teach you how is the difference between mind, soul, and spirit. I am teaching practicality, my brother. I am teaching practicality, how people can practically experience spirituality, not by reading books and having dreams. A lot of people who have dreams and they say, oh, they are being initiated in their dreams, so they are being initiated. I'm not teaching that kind of nonsense here. Please. Please. I'm teaching practicality of Ewe Vodu. And if people who have passed through my hands and say that the things that I have taught them is not working for them, they can all testify here that, oh, this man, whatever he is telling, his teaching is not working. Not this kind of things that about hermetics and whatever. How many of them have you experienced yourself? Let's go up. Oluchi also okay, say, Papa, I work in my dream in the same company where I usually work physically. Now my contract is finished. I see myself in the dream working in that company. Please, what does that mean? Thank you with peace and love. Okay, also okay, Oluchi. I think means your spirit still strongly remains with the company. And if your contract is finished and you are seeing yourself still working there, I think the first thing you should do is to pray to your inner self and say that if there is a way that you can still go back there to work physically, or your contract can be renewed for you to work physically. It should open the doors for you. And of course, that is if you still have your desire to work there. So that's what you will do first, to ask your inner self to open the doors for you, so that you can go back there and work there if you still want to work there. The second is to do a reading to find out what you can, this dream is telling you, and also what you can do to be able to go back to work there physically, and then the oracle will show the way and teach you the way, so that you can be able to, what do you call it? You can be able to work there. You already, man. Okay. Okay. So that is Big Sister Oluchi. Please try that and let's see. But if you cannot and you want to do a reading, we are always here to ask the oracle for you and then give you the direction that the oracle will give us. Thank you very much. And then let's go up and then see. And then Hades Yogin again. Ori was given authority over all Orisha by Olodumare. Why is Ori the highest of all the Orisha? I don't deal in Orisha. I am doing Vodou, and I am not dealing in Olodumare. As in Ewe Vodu, there is nothing like Olodumare. So if people talk about Olodumare, then it is people who are dealing with Orisha. I am dealing with Vodou, and I'm dealing with Ese. Let's go up. Then we have Henry Hansen. Hi, Papa. I am late and out of town. I hope you are well. Sure, Doc, we are fine. And how are you too? Thank you very much for the discussion we had last time, and I'm very grateful. I'm well, and hope you are well too. Thank you very much. Then we have Danny St. Malo. What is the meaning of Togbe in the name Togbe Ade? The word Togbe in Ewe means an elderly person. It can be also called, a spirit can also be called Togbe, means an elderly spirit or an elder. So the word Togbe is a respected name. Chiefs, even as young as 1 year old, are also called Togbe. So it's a title of respect in every language. So when they say Togbe Ade is the hunter. So we call the Togbe Ade, or the respected elder, the hunter. So that the word Togbe in Ewe simply means an elder. A spirit can be called elders. Even a young child that has been placed in a position of authority can be called an elder. So that is the word Togbe in Ewe. A teacher can also be called Togbe. Anybody who is somebody has a knowledge to share with you, to teach you what you don't know, that person is regarded as an elder, someone with respect that you can give the name Togbe to. Then again, we have Leslie Omar in Singapore. Thank you, Daddy. Daddy, please. When the talisman, ring, and bracelets are made for you by a priest, how do you feed it or charge it? Is it yearly or every 6 months? Please, the person who makes that for you is the one you direct that question to. He or she should know the rules and regulations of what they have made for you, when to feed them, and what to feed them with. I here cannot tell you what I have not made for you. If it is me who made them for you, you ask me that, okay, this thing that you made for me, how do I feed it? How often do I feed it? I can give you that answer. But someone else cannot make something for you, and then I will tell you how to feed it and when to feed it. It does not exist. Thank you, Leslie. Then we have a Ruby Dizzy, third chakra. You are so right, Papa. Thank you very much. And then we have a Nunya Adidu Asimetune. I love you for your honesty and transparency. Thank you very much, Nunya Adidu. I'm teaching what I know, because if I don't know it, I cannot talk about it. What I know is what I talk about. I don't talk about dreams. I don't talk about what people just create dreams and continue deceiving this world in the name of God. No. That's not what I am here for. Then Nunya Adidoy Asimetune says, solid man, no nonsense man. Thank you. Yes, I am a very no nonsense person. I don't like nonsense. The Hades Yugin, I thought Vodou and occult knowledge ran parallel. My bad, Baba. That is it, you have to study more. Vodou and occult knowledge doesn't run parallel. Vodou is Vodou and occult knowledge is occult knowledge. Because you talk about the Hermetics and all this thing, it may be a general way of spiritual practices. But Vodou is very specific about what they do and what deities that they are related to. And then that's what we do. We open people's eye, we open this thing. We even have keys that a human being can sit here and within a twinkle of an eye will vanish from you. We have those keys. You don't get those in Hermetics or anything else. It is all stories you read, and you will never be able to practice them practically. How many times have you seen people in Hermetics taking a real knife, sharpened knife, and cutting themselves, and it's not cutting? They'll tell you stories that, at one time there was this great guy who was able to fly from here to there. Why can't people fly today? If that great guy was able to fly, why people wouldn't be able to fly today? Let's move forward, please. Oh my again, Daddy, please. When you have protection ring or talisman, I think that's what we have. Okay. A ring or talisman that say you shouldn't take it to urine or toilet. Must you remove it when urinating in an open park or field or defecating in the bush, since it's not toilet or the word here is toilet. It doesn't matter whether you are defecating in the bush or you are defecating inside a room or inside a plate. No, it's toilet. That it means they don't want the dirt of feces or urine, the smell of feces and urine to be able to touch that spirit. That's why they say so. So if you want to use it, you want to go to toilet, remove it. I have a talisman that I wear. And that talisman, when I go to toilet, I usually remove it and keep it before going to toilet. I will never wear it and sit on the toilet because I know the rules that it is not the way. So once you know that, you have to follow it. Because you cannot say that they tell you that fire burns people, but maybe sometimes when fire is inside a box, it doesn't burn easily. But when you put your hand inside, it will burn you. So rules are rules and regulations are regulations. If you want to benefit from what is taught you, follow the rules and regulations, and you will get the maximum benefit. You cannot cannot shift it when you like. We are not soccer players where you shift the goal pole whenever you like. Thank you. Leslie, thank you for that question. And then we go on to Kukubo. God knows, Maunya. Bapa, good evening. We're happy to listen to you again. And thank you very much, Maunya. God bless you. And then we see Oluchi Osowoke. Okay, Papa. Thank you. I will do so. Peace and love. I will get to you, call upon you, Papa, for my reading again. Thank you, Papa. Thank you very much, big sister. We are very grateful to you for the question. Okay, I'm going to take the last question on Facebook. Then I'll come back to Clubhouse and then also go back to YouTube and see if there's any questions there. So the last question on Facebook for now is Hades Yogin again. I ask questions to understand the mind of the Bokor or priest to figure things out for self. I'm all about self-sufficiency and not to rely on others. Just how was I raised, Baba? No hard feeling, didn't know questions were restricted. I respect your wise and wisdom. No question is restricted, but when you are asking questions, ask wise questions so that people can benefit from. Because your questions are all out of the normal. They are not really following anything that we are teaching here. So that's why I'm not teaching hermetics here. And I am not teaching about yoga here. I'm not teaching about Kundalini and all these things here. And so I am teaching about Vodou. So if you look at my page and the page of my children, we are saying that we are trying to demystify Vodou. That is what we have put there. And we put it there categorically that Vodou education. And then I am teaching about Ewe Vodu. That's what I'm teaching about. Yes, of course, from time to time, general questions from people come just to see how things. But the way you ask your questions, they irritate me. I must be very, very frank with you. If you are self-sufficient and you know what you are doing, you wouldn't be asking this kind of questions. I'm very sorry. I have been into hermetics. I have all the Franz Baden books here. I have been into Kabbalah. I have done a lot of Kabbalistic invocations and all these things. Even sometimes I do some even now. So please, it's not that I'm not a novice to these things, but the way you are asking your question is not very straightforward. It tells me that you don't know what you are doing. We move it on. Then we have a kukubo. We passed there already. Papa, is it good for everyone to be initiated into Afa? Yes and no. Why do I say yes? If you want to know more about your own life and your roadmap and your blueprint in life, yes, you may opt to be initiated into Fa. But then there are certain people who really want to know anything, and when they are even initiated into Fa, they don't even take it serious. Then you don't need to be initiated into Fa, because it's only people who are serious with their life and want to know what they want to do with their life are the ones that I think should be initiated. But then if through your reading and your reading, or you do a reading and the readings say that you should be initiated into Fa, then you know that your essay or your destiny, or what maybe the Yoruba will call Ori, may be the one directing you to get initiated into Fa so that you can know yourself. Then we have Victor K. Abochukwu. Hey, Toby, it's been a very long time. How are you? Thank you very much for joining us. And then it's a greeting. Victor is saying, greetings, Papa. Can you elaborate on Egbe? Heavenly mate in Vodou concept. Egbe. Is Egbe is it an everywhere? I'm not very, very familiar with that word, Victor. So please break it down for me, and I will come back to it. Okay, let's go back to what do you call it? Let's go to Clubhouse. If there's any question, if you people are listening, please, anyone who wants to ask me any question, you can.
Anybody on Clubhouse here who wants to ask Papa a question, please go ahead.
Can I ask a question? Can I actually just appreciate?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, Papa. My name is Jeff. I'm in Japan right now. I'm good friends with your son Senna and Pele, and I like their charisma, their passion. They're really good. They motivate me a lot in Japan. So thank you so much for having really good boys, Senna and Pele. I like them a lot.
Thank you very much,
My question
Jeff.
will be.
Yes. Go ahead, Jeff.
How are you, is there any way you're trying to you can promote Vodou in other African countries? We would love to have more teachings about Vodou in Uganda, in East Africa, Southern Africa. Is there any way you plan to promote in future in other countries?
Yes, Jeff, thank you very much for the question. You see, the problem with this, our traditional practices, Vodou in particular, which I am teaching about, is that there's a lot of people who are making mistakes and saying things just to frighten people, to make people to respect them, to make people think that they know so much. yet they know nothing. So for me to be able to expand to any other part of the world, not necessarily Africa, is to be able to train people who can understand what they are doing, and they also have to understand their purpose of coming to learn Vodou. And until and when we are able to get people who can have that concept, I cannot guarantee anybody that, okay, this person knows it, so go to them, they will teach you. Or that person knows it, so go to them and they will teach you. I want to be able to know who is teaching what, and be able to authenticate it, and be able to judge and say, yes, this person knows what is doing. Just like maybe you might have seen other teachers of Vodou all around. For me personally, I can say categorically that the teachings of Togbe Kofi Chagli, Awuno Chagli, Awuno Kofi Chagli, I mean all the names, I have seen his teachings to be very, very close to my teachings. And just like what my grandfather has taught me, and when I listen to his teachings and his writings, I can even recommend people to go to such a person to learn, even though physically I have never met Kofi Chagli in person. We have communicated one or a few times, but personally we have never met. But I could tell from his teachings that he knows what he's teaching. So for me to be able to expand to other African countries, then I must have people from these other African countries who may either invite me to go and train them, or come to Ghana so I can train them and give them a real Vodou that they can work with, and then now they can now reintroduce that to their own people, because in every African country there is Vodou. But how to work the Vodous that are in your country, you may not call the name Vodou, you may have your own local names for it. And each, even in my country, Ghana, it is not everybody who call their traditional practices Vodou. It's only we, the Ewes, who call our traditional practices Vodou. There is the Akom in the Akan. And then I believe strongly that in the northern part of Ghana, they also have their kind of Vodou, but they have their name for it. When you go to the Nzima group, they also have their kind of Vodou, but they have a name for it. When you go to other parts, it's all this different. But at the end of it, it is all Vodou. So in Uganda or in any other African country or anywhere else in the world, even let's say Bhutan in the north of India, everything that they are doing is also Vodou, because Vodou simply means spirit. So anything that you are doing which is a spiritual practice, in our Ewe language, we will call it Vodou. So getting people to learn it is the first key. If people are able to learn it well, then we are ready to spread it. But if I cannot have people who can collaborate and be real people, I don't think I can go anywhere than to remain here in Ghana, and people who wants to come and drink from my fountain can always come to drink from my fountain. Because I've been having calls for the past 2 weeks that I should come to South Africa. There's a group of women who had been following me, and they wanted me to come to South Africa and start to set up a center or to teach there or to explain to them. I told them I will come, but first I want them to experience any work that I can do for them. And if it works for them and they think that I am a good teacher, then of course I can visit them and then also start to work with people and them as well. I am ready to teach whoever is ready to learn. I don't have a problem, but I can only introduce people that I teach what I know, and I am sure that they know it well. Then I can introduce them. For instance, now in the US, I have few students in the US, but then a person like Shamba Musa Muhammad, he is coming to learn to become a priest. Not only that was he initiated into Vodou and into Fa, but he is also learning to become a priest, which I have given him a lot of information and I am assisting him. Now he has started doing a reading for people, and I am guiding him, and so that he can also be the best that he can be to help humanity. Such is what I want. So now I can even tell people that if you want to do reading, you can contact Shamba Musa in the US, and he can do, because I have trained him myself. So Jeff, this is my take on your question.
Thank you so much. That's a well reply. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much too for the question. Yes, Senna.
Hello, Papa.
Yes. Yeah, I find out if anybody is, asking question or wants to ask question. Let's go from there. Is very big rain going on here now.
Kaira, how are you doing? Thank you for your question. Angie, I think you have a question. Please go ahead.
Greetings, family. How are you all?
Hello, Angie. How are you?
Hello.
Wonderful. Papa, my question to you is more on personal note. Somehow I placed my calories that you all had provided for me when you set up my essay. So I wanted to find out what steps would I need to take in order to replace them.
You lost them?
I'm not exactly Yes, somehow I lost them.
Okay, what I would do is that now that I am aware, we'll prepare another calorie and send to you. That's the only way, because the calories that I prepare for people, they are not just ordinary calories. They are embedded with herbs that we call talking herbs. Herbs that can make the calorie or the energy that or the spirit that you are using it for be able to communicate through the calories. So we will have to prepare a new set and send to you. Have you lost all of them?
Yes, they were in a pouch all together, and I remember having them that morning, and somehow I have not had them since. I don't know what happened to them or anything.
No
tearing
problem.
the house up.
I will prepare new ones and send to you.
Gratitude.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody in a clubhouse again?
Toze me Pautio, I was just wondering, how could we get in contact with you for consultation, me Pautio?
Okay, I think we have our contacts and everything on our page, but then Senna should be able to.
Please, you can send me a message. If you send me a message, then I can give you all our contact details. But you can find our work on African Magic Temple and Revolution on Facebook. We also have a website, www.africanmagictemple.net. So if you want details to contact Papa, please feel free to message me directly, and then I can share with you those details.
Medasi Sana, I have sent you a message, me Pacho. Medasi pa.
Thank you very much. So let's go ahead, and anybody else want to ask a question? Okay, let me go to Facebook again. Have you opened? Let's go to YouTube and see first whether there's anything there for me. And I think on the Telegram, because today's our first streaming, we don't have many people. We just have 1 or 2 people here listening. Godson Maukwenya is listening, and I think Mauli was listening, and Redeemer was listening. But now it's only remaining Godson Maukwenya. Seiram Voncujovi also is also listening on Telegram. So we are now on YouTube. We have Mosi Komfo Moshikonfo means nice journey, Togbi. Thank you very much, Moshikonfo. And then we have my RC79. Hello, Papa. Is it true that working with witches or being involved with witches has karmic consequences? And my RC79, I've never worked with witches before. That's the truth. I've never worked with witches before. What I do with witches is that if they catch someone or they are disturbing someone, I can ask the witches to release the person by asking what I can use to compensate them so that they can leave the person alone. But directly, I have never worked with any witch or witches before, so I would not know whether working with witches or involving yourself with witches will have karmic consequences. There's no way I can know because I don't deal with witches. Thank you very much, MRC79. Then we have Ian Campbell here. What are some of the spiritual causes why men masturbate and why women has miscarriages? I don't know what are the causes why men masturbate. I think if masturbation may be coming from the point of desire to have sex, and if you have a sexual partner and yet you still masturbate, it's probably you are not being satisfied by your sexual partner, and that's what it is. Or maybe you don't have a partner, that's why you probably may have masturbation. But in the question of miscarriages, there are so many things that can cause miscarriage. Some may be the food you are eating. Some may also be from your own destiny. Some may also be caused by certain abortions that had taken place in the past, and now the babies that have been lost are not given the chance to the mother to have a new baby. So those could be the causes of miscarriages. Some could also be a scientific, as a result of some scientific biological problem in the body. So it could be anything which causes miscarriage. But then if such things continue and you want to know, the best way is to do a proper reading and find out, and then get it solved, and you are free. We then have Andrew Fisher say, I don't have luck in anything I do. Yes, Andrew, if you don't have luck in anything you do, you must find out why you don't have luck in anything that you do. And then when you know why, then you can now find a way to solve the problem. Thank you very much. Then Ian Campbell again say, how does one cleanse themselves from miscarriage and masturbation? I am not sure about masturbation, but then miscarriage, as I said earlier, one must do a reading to find out what is the cause of the miscarriage. And when you are able to do that reading and you know the cause of the miscarriage, there will be also a solution given to you to tell you what to do to fix that problem. So that is the only thing that I think you should do, and you'll be able to find answers to your question. Thank you very much, Ian Campbell. In Facebook. Yeah. We have my nephew, David Tetra here. Hello, Papa. Great work, and keep up the good work for teaching us on Ewe culture. Thank you very much, David. I'm very grateful. And how are my grandchildren? Hope they are all fine. Kosipeku and the rest of them, Seiram and the little twins, and Ata and Atakuma. My regards to your wife and your in-laws. Thank you very much for joining us. Then we have Kukubo, God knows. I learned there are different forms of afa. Please, can you explain the advantages and disadvantages? I don't think there are different forms of afa. Please, can you explain the various forms for us? the disadvantages and the advantages. Okay, there are so many forms of Afa in Ewe land, and I believe that in Yoruba land also there are so many different forms. In Ewe Fa, we have what we call the Jisa Fa, we have Anago, we have Gogo, we have Amije Fa, and I think there's another one, Poliga Fa. The Poliga Fa people, I think they are the ones that have the Vodou as the deity that is at top of their shrine, Poliga, and the Anago, they have this thing. But then also some people in Jisa also have the Vodou as their deity that is the head of their shrine. So this all, there is not that there's not there are no disadvantages, but there are only advantages in them all. But it depends on everyone. Wherever your destiny guides and directs you, that's where you may fall. So I was initiated into Jisa Fa, and as I was initiated, and I had been learning from different teachers. Then I came to meet people who also have Anago Fa. Anago, as you should know, Anago means Yoruba in Ewe word. The Ewes don't call the Nigerian Yorubas Yoruba, but we call them the Anago. And then it is in Nago or in Fa. The Yorubas are the original people of the Michi Fane. Yorubas are the original people of Fa. So that's why when we are even doing the Voji incantations, there is some place in that incantation that we call Afa Anagope Yeve. The Ewes have Yeve, and then the Anagos, they have Afa as their Yeve. And what is Yeve? Yeve simply means Vodou. So the Anago Fe Yeve, or Fa or Jinjale, Anago Fe Yeve. So that means the Ewes have recognized that the Anago people or the Yorubas are the original people of Fa. Or Fa belongs to the Yorubas, and the Ewes have adopted it and use it accordingly to work their Vodous. So Ewes have in the incantations of Fa in Ewe land, it is we pay homage to the Yorubas that they are the original people of Fa. So all these Afas are all, we can only get advantages, there are no disadvantages. But because I am a seeker, I want to learn from everywhere. So even though I am initiated into Jisa, I am also learning from Anago people so that I can see the differences in them. And honestly speaking, I can see there is a vast difference, but all of them are Fa. Afa says that the oracle that falls, that's what you talk about. Aduye Jain Eokana. Aduye Jain Eokana. The oracle that has fallen is what you talk about. So if you are using Jisafa and you throw it and the oracle that has fallen, that's what you will talk about. Whether you are using Gogo, you are using Poliga or whatever, the oracle that has fallen is what you are going to talk about. So the only thing you can do is that make sure that your Pele or your Gumaga is able to pick the correct information, and so that when you throw the divination chain, it falls down on the exact Afadu or Afa Odu that will fall, or Poni that will fall, so that you can just tell the story. So it does not really matter which one you have, but of course there are some of them, the teachers are very creative, and their storylines are very beautiful, and I like to associate with such people. Thank you very much, Togbe Kukubo. God knows. Then we have Michael Opoku here. Yeah, Michael Opoku is saying, good afternoon, Papa. My greetings to everyone I'm representing. Yes, Michael, thank you very much for joining us. And how is Italy? Hope you are fine. And we are fine here. We're wishing you all the blessings of the week. And may the ancestors continue helping and blessing your ways. And then I think somebody was replying to Victor replying to Victor Keabochi, greetings, Papa. Can you then, Victor again? Egbe is a Yoruba word in Ifa. Yes, so it's not an Ewe word, as you say in Vodou. Egbe. Egbe is a Yoruba word in Ifa. Yes, I will not be able to translate or tell what exactly it means, what the Egbe is in Yoruba word. So if you can find the Ewe word for it, or you can find me the English word for what Egbe is, I will be able to tell you something about it. But I'm not sure if I can tell the word, the Yoruba word. I have some idea about Yoruba words. I used to speak, but now it's been more than 30 to 40 years. I have never been on Yoruba land, and I've lost a lot of the language to that. But I know that's why when you say Egbe, that's why I say no, it doesn't look like an Ewe word to me. But then now that you are saying it's a Yoruba word, yes, it's a heavily made, but I don't know what it means actually. Maybe we'll have to find some Yorubas to come to break it down for us. If we have our friends who are in the Yoruba land, like what do you call it, Abayomi, and all this thing, they can probably get us some explanation. Thank you very much, Tobi Abuchi Pui Victor. Yeah. Then we have Angel D. Genyo. What is the difference between Vodou? Please hold it up. What is the difference between Vodou and Satanism? Angel D. Genyo, I don't know the difference between Vodou and Satanism. And what is the difference between Christianity and Vodou? And what is the difference between Christianity and Satanism? That's the question I will also ask you, because I don't know what is Satanism, and I don't know what you mean by Satanism. You know what Satan is? If you know, explain it to me what Satan is, then probably I will be able to tell you. I mean, I don't know what is Satan. So the difference between Vodou and Satanism, I don't know. You can tell me. Thank you. And then we have Hades Yugin again. Let's go up. Hades Yugin says, can you give me an excuse that we work with? So, I mean, at least I've given you 3. I don't know, maybe you don't know what Vodou is, but that is what it is. The spiritual example of a spiritual practice in Vodou is practicing of pouring of libation. But I should also tell you that Vodou is the only spirituality that the whole world fears. That's why it has been labeled a devil worship, because it's the only practical spirituality that you can ever find on this planet. And then Leslie Omar is saying, thank you, Daddy. I will surely pay you. Please raise it. I can't. There's a comment. This is over there. I cannot. Are you people with me or what? Leslie Omar say, thank you, Daddy. I will surely pay you a visit when I get to Ghana. Oh, you are always welcome, Leslie. Thank you very much for the questions, and I wish you God's blessing. And then we have Yao Boapong Adia. Where are you located in Ghana? We are located in Accra. Thank you. And then we have Danny Senmalo. Can you speak about Tohosu, the water spirit? I don't deal with Mamiwata, which people call Tokosu. Maybe some people call it Tohosu, or this. I know people call it Tokosu. I don't deal with those things, so I cannot talk about it. What I don't deal with, I don't speak about. I'm sorry. Then Hades, you can say, I asked because we are all familiar with the outward raise a this for me. In your this, it doesn't show that the comment is covering the question. Eh? So you don't see that new comment thing covering your new comment. That's what it's covering. So I cannot read if it is there. Bring it down first. Let me start reading from the top. Hades Yugin say, I ask because we all are familiar with the outward manifestation of Vodou, the ritual, the ceremonies, and the festivals. But no one wants to do the work. How do we cultivate our inner selves and get to the bottom, as you say? Who say no one wants to do the work? We are doing the work. We are doing Vodou work here practically. Who say no one wants to do the work? Where have you heard that one before? How do we cultivate our inner selves and get to the bottom, as you say? We must go into the dark to get the light. Is Vodou about enlightenment and knowing thyself, or magic, tricks, spells, rituals, and fortune telling? I don't know. When you ask questions like this, I don't know. I think you need to read more about Vodou, or if you want to know more about Vodou, you should get initiated, practice it, and know whether Vodou is a magic trick. It's all fortune telling alone. If Vodou can be here, or a person who is well vested in if people who are practicing Vodou can bring changes in nature, can make rain to fall, can stop rain from falling, can let thunder strike, or can redirect energies which are disturbing people's life to somewhere else. So how do you think, why do you think that Vodou doesn't bring enlightenment? What do you want to do with enlightenment? You want to go to heaven? We don't talk about heaven in our culture. Heaven is a white man's concept. And if heaven was a real home for people to go, I don't think the white man would be staying on this land and stealing things from African countries, our gold, our diamond, our bauxite, our everything. They would have been waiting and be preparing to go to heaven. They wouldn't have been coming to our lands and be taking our everything. If there is heaven and everything there is with gold, the white man won't stay here. He will not even come to Africa at all, because in Africa we have a lot of sickness, we have diseases, we have mosquito. What are they looking for here if there is heaven for them to go? So when you talk about enlightenment, what do you mean by enlightenment? What I understand about enlightenment is knowledge and wisdom. And if someone can teach you how to take one leg and put it in front of the other, and you will be moving forward, then that person has knowledge and wisdom. So what do you mean by enlightenment? Tell me what you understand by enlightenment, or what is your understanding about knowing oneself. How do you know oneself? What do you understand by knowing oneself? Or you are just following theory and using theory to ask me questions? We are very practical people here. We can be here and see the whole world. Anywhere we want to see, we can see. And anywhere we want to hear from, we will hear. We are using Vodou. We are not using Hermetics. We are not using Kundalini here. We are not using any yoga or Hindu anything here. We are using nature. So if you tell me what you understand by enlightenment and what benefit is enlightenment to you, let me know. If the white man has heaven and believe in heaven, you think you come to Africa and steal gold here and be plotting and letting people kill people, putting guns in our countries where there is wealth, so that the people will kill themselves and they will come and take the thing away. You think so? Let me hear something proper. Be moved when we are talking about spirituality, people are just talking foolish things, and they want to confuse people that they are spiritual people. You know what spirituality is. Danilo Imberile joined us and said, do you often use dark in rituals? It depends. When we are doing rituals, it is what the spirit wants, is what we give. We don't do anything without consultation. If the spirits want you to give duck, you give duck. If they ask you to give chicken, you give chicken. If they want you to give any other animal, that's what you give. It is not your decision. It's not our decision. So whatever it is, that's what we use. Yes, so we go to Kukubo, God knows again, Papa, and learn those who disappear, Zido or Golo. Dodo, during emergency, reduce their lifespan. Please, I want to know the truth in this. Okay, God knows. Maunya, the truth is, I don't know whether your lifespan reduces. What my old man told me is that when you are a young person and you have not got a child, you've never given birth to a child before, if you do Zido, especially Zido, not Golo. Golo is more like you can still be here, people will be looking for you, but they will not find you. Even if they see you, they will be seeing somebody else. But Zido is to vanish from one place to another, as in everywhere, Zido. What my old man told me about Zido is that if you don't have a child yet, you should not be initiated into Zido. So I asked him why, when you are not having a child, you should not be initiated. He said because once you get Zido when you are young, the spirit will not allow your semen to have an offspring. You will not have a child. And I have also seen it in two of my great-grandfathers who were great spiritualists and very powerful people. Their name remains, but they did not have any physical child. And that proved to me what my teacher, my father, Togbetuji, taught me. So I have seen physically a proof. So I know that they said if you get Zido or vanishing key before giving birth to children, you won't have any child if you took that initiation. So that's why I have plenty children. If I can go to do a Zido, maybe this is the time. But me personally, I don't think it is my take on that. But that's I don't know. Nobody knows where it will be necessary. Yeah. I would rather just have Golo and then sit down, you come and you don't see me, that's fine, but I will not have a Zido. I don't know, but that's it. So, Kukubo, God knows, that's it. But I did not know that, he didn't tell me that when you do it, you reduce your lifespan. He only told me that you may not have a child if you take it before you start giving birth to children. So, that's what I know. Then let's go up. Let's go up with Danilo Imberile, saying, apart from the mirror and Afa, what other divination system do you teach? There are so many divination systems. This is also used for divination. These cowries are also for divination. That's why you see from time to time I throw them, because I teach about them too. We have so many. When you go to Togbe Jopata's room, we don't use Afa or mirror. We use the Togbe Jopata's own cowries, and there's a way to use it to divine. So I have crystal ball divination. I have my crystal ball in the room, and of course, this is the mirror there. And these are the things that I know. And sometimes I don't need any of them. I can sit here and tune myself in, and I can be off to get information from anywhere. Thank you, Danilo Imberile, for the question. And then again, Danilo Imberile again raised the theme. Are you people sleeping or what? Or you are behind there playing on your phones. Danilo Mberilege, have you made the small divination book for anyone so far? No, me, I have not made any divination thing for anybody. It's only my son, Senna, that we've been teaching, and Seiram and Kofi, that we are doing this. I don't make my things for people easily. Honestly speaking, I don't give my things out to people easily, because if I don't know you very well, I will not teach you. It is not the money you bring to me that matters. If I don't know you very well, I will not teach you. Then we have Oluchi Osowoke. Papa, I know you will say you don't know why I am laughing. I laugh because of the question that says, what is the difference between Vodou and Satanis? Sorry, Papa. That is why I laugh. Peace and love, Papa. The answer is, will answer. Yeah, no, because why do people ask such a question? What is the difference between Satanism and Vodou? I don't know. You should find out. And what is the difference between Satanism and Christianity? They should find out. We're very funny people asking funny questions. Why ask such a kind of question? Who told you what is Satan? Have you ever seen Satan before? When you go to the church every day and you say you are beating Satan and killing Satan. So for all these 2,000 to 3,000, 4,000 years, Satan has not yet died. And you're always telling people that you have a mighty God. So if you have a mighty God, so why the mighty God is not able to kill Satan until today? How do I feel? If you are there, a microwave man. Thank you very much, Oluchi Osonke. Thank you very much. Let's go up. If there's any question there. Then we have Kudabi Emmanuel. Yes, sir. I like your spiritual power. How can I get connected to you? We are always there. Which spiritual power have I demonstrated? I have never demonstrated any spiritual power anywhere. So if you say you like my spiritual power, what power did you see me demonstrate before you say you like my spiritual power? You can say that, oh, I like your spiritual teaching. I have not demonstrated spiritual power. So don't say that you like my spiritual power. I'm very serious and a very straightforward person. Don't flatter yourself and thinking you are flattering me. Let's go ahead. Then we have a Hades Yogin again. Knowledge of self to me is knowledge of the power within and the wisdom in the science of how to use it to manipulate. How to use it to manipulate and program your reality as you see fit. It is knowing that you are the creator, God, of your own universe, within and without. That's how I feel, Baba. Yes, I agree with you, and that's exactly what I am teaching here. How to make people realize how they can harness the power that they have within them through the teachings of our ancestors. It is only in Vodou that you can will, and your will takes effect on the practical surface of the earth. I have been into many things. The rest of them are just stories, are just theories, dreams. But in Vodou, you can will, and it happens. And that is the reality of Vodou. And it is you who is making that will. And where do you get that power from? From within you. And that's what the Vodou teaches. And that's why Vodou is the most feared spiritual practice.
Hello, sorry, I've been having some network issues.
Okay. So are you back now?
Are we still on?
Yeah, I've been on all through.
Now I can hear you.
I don't know.
You can hear me fine.
Yeah, now it's very clear.
I can hear you fine.
It's become clear now. Everybody.
Is Papa's connection fine or?
My connection
is fine. He's on mute.
My connection is fine. Can you hear me?
So we can't hear him.
Can you hear me?
I went to the YouTube. Now we can.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes.
No, because I didn't put it on mute. I think maybe it was done from your end. I don't know. I've been speaking all through.
Oh,
Apologies.
I've been speaking all through. I didn't know it was on mute, so I'm just talking. There's so much we are talking here now. So, bring me this. The name is Yugin. Hades Yugin. So, the reality of spirituality is within you. And that's exactly what Vodou is. And that's why Vodou is feared among all other spiritual disciplines in the world. And everybody will rather denigrate it by saying it is devil worship. Because people cannot understand how a person can wish that fire should strike from heaven and it will strike from the skies and fall onto the earth by will. And what can they call it? If you are not a devil's advocate, you could not do that. But that's stupidity. That's reality. And that's why Vodou is feared among all other spiritual practices. So it is to harness your inner force, the God within you, to be able to act for you practically on the physical space of the world. And there is no other spiritual discipline that can do that apart from Vodou. So if you think that knowledge of self is this, that is what Vodou is. It is not reading of books. How many Vodou books have you read before? Vodou books are very few. The real Vodou books, there is no real Vodou book. All the books that have been written are people who came to see and write. Real Vodou people have not written any book. But go to them and see. If they say snake should come from the forest and bite you now, they will just talk some word. And snake will come out from the forest and bite you in front of everybody. How many spiritual disciplines can do this? This is how Vodou is. That's why it is feared. Because it's the only thing that can harness your inner power to be able to will it on the physical plane. And that's why I fall in love with Vodou. Thank you, Hades Yugin. Then we have a Kudabi Emmanuel. Please, I need your contact, please. We have my contact is already there, so you can always get my contact. Then we have Kukuba, God knows. Papa, I'm happy about your teachings, but in the case of Zido, what about if a person impregnated a woman? Yeah. But in the case of Zido, what about if a person impregnates a woman who is yet to give birth? Can he go for Zido protection, waiting to hear from you? You see, what about if the woman who is pregnant for you and she is going to deliver the baby and the baby does not live? What about if the woman gets miscarriage? The Ewe says something, there's a proverb in Ewe saying that Omakpona echidodo trona ezemeto hunagbe o, which simply translates this way. You don't see that the clouds are gathering and you are expecting that rain will fall, so the drinking water that you have in your pot, you use it to wash the pot and throw away. What about the cloud when the cloud disappears? Don't you see that even the one that you should have been drinking, you use it in washing your pot and threw it away, and the rain didn't fall, and there's no water in your pot? Who will suffer? It's you. So don't put your mind that if somebody is pregnant for you, so you can go and get Zido so that you can protect yourself, because after all, you are going to have a child. Start having children first. And when you have children and you think that it is enough for you, you want to get Zido, go and get Zido. But I would not advise you to go and throw your drinking water away just because the clouds have gathered. It will be a fool's paradise. Don't do that. Move the scene. Then we have Ms. Arthur Douglas. Hello, can I have your number, please? Yes, please. Our number is always there. Please type. Somebody should type my number and put it on the pin it to the so that other people can see, because I think people are not going through our page to see our number. So let's do that. And then we have our big brother called Stone, say Clubhouse. And you just leave that one. Yeah. And then movie, I want to read say Clubhouse can't hear you, Papa. Yes, I think Senna muted my my speaker, my microphone. I didn't know, so I was just talking. It is until when he came back that they mentioned it, then I put it back. This was the problem. I didn't know. I was just talking. See, our brother in Lagos, Abayobin Balogu, also said no audio on Clubhouse. Yeah, it's because the person who is the moderator has muted my microphone. But I think now we are on. Then we have Ishmael Adi. My greeting to you, Toby. More grace to your elbows. Give us more hidden secrets of our ancestors, the universe. Thank you very much, Ishmael. How are you? Thank you very much for joining. I'm very grateful. May the ancestors continue to help you and bless you. Okay, like that comment, and then let's go ahead. I think we're having a very interesting section today. I think that's the last one there. Then we have could that be Emmanuel? Thank you, sir. We are not seeing your number. Oh, they've just put the number there now. So please, I think you can just scroll it and you will see it. Thank you very much, Ima. We are very grateful. Now we are almost deep into this, and I don't know what's the time now because my television. Okay, my television is 4:17. Okay, we are in Ghana. We are 16:17 now, but we'll do some more, and so that people's answers can be answered. Their questions can be answered. Okay, so we have Ian Campbell on YouTube saying, so why do the babies that was aborted cause the parent not to have any more child? Okay, Ian Campbell, you see, there is what we call the bodiless souls. Bodiless souls. I think I need to bring a black or white board into these teachings next time so that I can really do some sketches to teach you about these things, and maybe it will make sense, but I'll think about it. There are certain things, certain beings called bodiless souls. Just like when a human being dies, it is the body that dies. Just as in science that I think they say the energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be whatever. I think Senna knows what to say. Energy cannot be destroyed. Maybe it can only be mutated in different forms or something like that. So when a person dies, the body dies, but that person's spirit, that person's soul, and in which the essay or the destiny or Nkrabia does not die. It is become bodiless. So these souls or bodiless souls would want to be born. When a man and a woman meet together and during sex and copulation takes place, the fetus, the woman's is it over? And then the man's sperm form a fetus. This fetus will generate a vibration, a wavelength. So when the wavelength of the bodiless soul is in conformity with this one that is vibration or the wave that the fetus is emanating, that bodiless soul will travel and have and come into that, and the heartbeat will start, and slowly that child will be born, and that child will grow up and become a human being, a big human being like all of us. So when a child is aborted, means that soul that wanted to be born had been denied an opportunity. That soul that wanted to be born back into the world to continue learning is being denied an opportunity of coming back to continue its journey. Sometimes these babies or bodiless souls become angry with this mother or father who have planned to murder them or deny them an opportunity to come down to continue their journey towards perfection. So when these things continue and is happening, those souls will not prevent all other children who may want to come through that particular vessel or that particular woman from coming, because they will be told that this woman is a murderer and it does not take care of people, and so do not pass through there. This is why children will not be born by that parent, or because she is a murderer. Some women are lucky that they may have so many abortions and still have babies coming. But then it gets to a point that if they don't keep any of those babies and they continue aborting them or murdering them, nature will take a toll on them and karma will pay them in their own coin, and no more child will pass through that vessel to come into this world. This is what I mean by saying that the children who were aborted would prevent the parent from having a child. I have seen this in practicality many times, and I have to do rituals to reverse it, whereby we have to beg the souls of these aborted children to give an opportunity and forgive, and I punish the mothers on behalf of the lost children or the lost child, so that the children will feel that someone has spoken on their behalf, and they give a chance to the mother to have another child. And I have done this many times, and I have seen this very kind of women giving birth to children again. This is what I'm talking about. Then Ian Campbell again, if someone's companion dies, can that dead person still come back and have sex with the living? No. If you do see your dead companion coming back to have sex with you, it is a taboo, and sometimes you may fall sick and die and join the dead person in their dead land. At least in Ewe culture, it is known to have happened many times. That's why when we do the widow's ritual for women, when we are doing the widow's ritual, the first thing to prevent is that the dead person doesn't come back and sleep with her, whereby she will be invited to follow or to join the dead man in the dead land. So these things are practically in Ewe Vodu. They are very practical there. Then we have Ras 1, Ketogbe. Are there Voodoo in Akan spirituality that come from the Ewe? Oh, there is possibility. There are many Vodus traveling from one place to another, because just as we, the Ewes, have migrated from different places, and as also some of the Akans also have migrated from the Akan lands and become part of Ewe people. And the Ewes also have gone and become part of the Akan. There is a high possibility that the Vodus also might have migrated. Take, for instance, this word, this Vodu is called Akanyi. Akanyi in Ewe language, I don't understand. But if I translate it into Akan, Akanyi is like the one who is in front, Dikai, the one that is the front runner, Odikai. So the word Akanyi, even the Ewes are calling this Voodoo Akanyi, but from my own small knowledge of words and language and cultures, I believe very strongly this Voodoo may originally probably coming from the Akan culture. because the name Dikanyi or Akanyi has similarity with Akan word than Ewe word. Yes, of course, the Ewes also have certain words called Kanyi, which probably means the first boy in some Ewe dialect, and then some in Ewe dialect, the first boys are also called Foli, and people mistakenly who do not know they begin to call it Ofori, but in Ewe it is called Foli. So the cultures are intermingling, interchanging. So could be Vodus as well. So Ras, there's a possibility that some spiritual Vodus may come from Akan. And okay, we have Togbe Ajima. Okay, take that one for example. Togbe Ajima. Ajiman is not an Ewe word originally. It is an Akan word. But then we have a Vodou called Togbe Ajima, which is Ewe Vodu, and people are practicing and worshiping and doing all kind of things with it. So there is a high possibility that Vodus might have interchanged, just like how human beings have also interchanged and migrated. Then we have Patrice Renee. Is there an order to how we pray? In prayer, do we pray to God and then the ancestors, or do we pray to God then the ancestors? Yeah, I think every shrine has their own order. But then if you see, when I pray here, I call Mauga Sogbolisa, Mauga Kitikata, Mauga Esse. These are called Mau. Then I continue to call the smaller energies that I work with, like Togbe Jopata, Akanyi, and then the Abochi, and all the many other spirits that are with me. Then after that, I call my ancestors first. After I pray to Mauga Sobolisa, I call some spirits. Then I go on to call my ancestors and pray to my ancestors, and again call some other spirits that I work with. So that's how I pray in my shrine. I don't know how other people pray, but this is the way I have been praying, and it's been working for me, and that's the way I teach my students, and that's what has been working for them. But maybe in another shrine, they may say, okay, you pray to the ancestors and call the Mauga at the last. I don't know. But in my shrine here, I pray to the Mauga Sobolisa, Mauga Kitikata, Mauga Ase. Then from there, I go on to the other Vodus and my ancestors. So to us, that's the way I pray. And then Ian Campbell, could you explain how the widow's ritual is done? It is not something that I can explain. It is a practical thing. The widow's ritual is done by inviting the dead person, and the widow will cook a food and eat. And there are certain pegs that will be put on top of the food, and when with certain animals' hairs. And when they are done, the woman will cook food and eat. And at the last morsel of the food, she will take a left arm and remove the peg, and then eat the last food. And then say that from today, telling the dead person that from today, you and I are no more together as man and woman. We are no more husband and wife. If there are people in your dead land, you meet and you love them, go ahead and associate yourself with them, and allow me to, if I meet anybody on the physical plane, let me also associate and get married too. Because sometimes what happens is that when a person dies and leaves the how do you jump the thing? I'm coming to answer a question at the bottom here. It's jumping by itself. Because I was supposed to be coming down, and then all of a sudden okay, no, don't worry, let me answer what I am answering. Because you see, young Campbell who add and ask again, and then I don't know why the questions mix up. That's why I'm asking. So sometimes when a person dies and leaves a wife behind, the man's spirit will always be around a woman for a long time. And this also prevents that woman from getting another man to really have a relationship with. They may start a relationship, but then the relationship will just end up somewhere because of the dead man's spirit, by making the new man see mistakes and faults in the lady whose husband has died, or a man whose wife has done, and a relationship will cut off there. And the woman will try to get another relationship, and then at the end of the day, the same will happen. And then when we normally do a reading, okay. Okay. So it's okay. So the person will be worrying. So when they don't stop that dead person's spirit from the person, that widow or widower may not find anyone to associate with. And that's why in every culture we do widow's rituals to separate the dead from the living. So Ian Campbell, that is what it is like. It's a very practical thing. And when you do it for people, I have done it for people, and the results and things, especially even just before, because in our culture, when a person dies, immediately the person is buried. The dead person has been buried. What happens is that this dead person, the spouse of the dead person, is going to sleep in the room where the dead man was laid in state. And continuously for 7 days, the rituals will be, the widow's ritual or the widower's ritual will be taking place, and the dead, it is expected that the dead man is going to come and visit the wife, or the dead husband, or the dead wife is coming to visit the man, or the dead husband is coming to visit the wife. So in our culture also, it is believed that if the woman was with a man and had not been very faithful to the man, it is this time that she will be exposed. Because don't forget, when a man dies, maybe the man has properties, and these properties is going to be inherited by his children and the wives. And the people want to use this kind of times to identify whether the woman was very promiscuous or was very faithful to the man while the man was alive. These things happen mostly in the cases of men who die leaving their wives behind. So these rituals are done that maybe by the 7th day, the dead man will visit the wife, and if the wife had not been very faithful, will come and sleep with the living person. And then in that process, the living woman gets pregnant. But then this pregnant is not a real pregnancy, but her tummy will swell up as if she was pregnant, and after time she gets sick and she will just die and pass on. These are some of the rituals that people do. But then those people who know the secret to these things can overturn that kind of thing. And even if the woman had been promiscuous in her life, there is a way to avert it, because we want people to be alive than to see them dying. So there are rituals that are done. So Ian, there's a whole lot of rituals that are done in Ewe Vodu when a man and a woman's relationship, whether the man is dead and the woman is alive, or the woman is dead and the man is alive. These are the widows and the widowers' rituals that are done in order to prevent negativity I'm talking of this thing on authority because I had done a lot of this thing to prevent people from dying, and women who families thought that they should also die and follow the man because they had enjoyed the man's wealth while the man was alive. So it is better for the woman to just die enjoying the man. But me being a spiritual person, it is my duty as a human being to prevent unnecessary death because of greed and stupidity. So I have an authority on this because I know what I'm talking about, the things that I have done in the past. So then we have a Patrice. We have Patrice Renee again, separately. Ras one saying, Togbe, do you have Mami Wata? Can you speak on marine spirits in Vodou? I think we have seen these questions before. So how come these things are coming back? Where are these questions coming from? And are they today's questions? Yeah. Now we have talked about this many months ago. Anyway, I don't have Mami Wata spirits and I don't deal in marine spirits. I'm sorry. I don't deal with those things because I don't believe in everything. Honestly, I don't believe in Mami Wata, so I don't know. Then we have Ian Campbell. Could you explain how okay, that's what I'm just replaying. And then we have Raswan Togbe was Okonfu Anoche and Ewe man. Yeah, some what will I say? Some stories are like that he was an Ewe man from Ngoche or from Ewe land, and people even say that he is from Chame in Angolo, Chame. Whether that is true or is not true, I don't know. God, the word Komfo is a tree word of someone who is a traditional priest or priestess or Komfo. And then Anoche, that one, whether it is I can't name complete, I cannot know. But then people, the Ewes were coming from a place called Ngoche. That's why the Ewes, when they migrated to Ghana, they migrated from a town in the Togo, Benin area called Ngoche. So people believe that because the Akans cannot pronounce the word Ngoche very well, they are calling Anoche. This is the belief that people say. So I don't have any authority on whether Okomfo Anoche was from Ewe land, was an Ewe man or not, but there's so many legends are saying so. And I also remember going to Okomfo Anoche's shrine at Ewukugwa, which I have visited. I was invited by some of the chiefs in that area, and I was doing a reading, and then they found that what I was seeing was realistic to their own things that were happening there. So I was invited to Ewukugwa, where Komfo Anache's original shrine was before when the Denchira and the Ashantis were fighting. Then the Ashantis came to pick him from Okugwa to Ashanti line to help them spiritually so that they can be able to defeat the Denchira or to get out of the hands of the Denchira people, and the Ashantis become their own people today. So whether that also tells us the history that Okomfo Anoche was not originally an Ashanti, because the Ashantis came for him in Akwapim area to take him to go and help them. So that part of the history alone will tell us that originally he came from somewhere either than Ashanti land. But then, of course, we all move from one place to another, and we become natives of places where we settled over the years. So whether Okomfo Anoche was an Ewe man, whether he was an Ashanti man, I mean, what does that have to do with the spirituality I am doing here? I am teaching what I know, and if I teach you and it works for you, that's it. I don't know. Confanoche's origin does not have anything to do with what I am teaching here. I am teaching what I know, which is taught to me by my father, and that's what I'm teaching here. So that's what I concentrate on. So some of these questions, I'm not really a fan of them because it brings tensions in tribal tensions, which is not very good for anybody. Thank you very much. And then we have Patrice Renee again. What ritual can we do as regular people to increase luck with love or success? Patrice, when you want to do rituals, you don't just do rituals on your own because you don't even know what rituals are. Seek the advice of someone who knows what to do and pay money to that person to teach you what to do. Don't just think that you can just get it and then you start to do and then you will be successful. If you want to change your luck with women or with love or anything, go to a priest who is a professional priest who can tell you and teach you what to do so that you can overcome your bad luck. Don't be online and somebody will just teach you something. That's what has meddled up in the lives of most of you, just by watching anybody telling anything online, and then you just start practicing, and then when you fall into trouble, you now have a problem. Then we have Ian Campbell again saying, does Eves practice female circumcision? No, Eves don't practice female circumcision. Female circumcision practitioners are mostly Muslims. They are mostly Muslims. Eves are not Muslims by nature. We are Vodou practitioners. We are not Muslims. So most female circumcision tribes in Africa are mostly Muslim tribes. So Eves are not Muslims. We are Vodou practitioners. So Eves do not practice female circumcision. It is not part of our culture. And then Raswan Togbe, what is one of the most powerful spiritual experience you witnessed with Vodou? Midase, for your time and wisdom. No, I have never witnessed any powerful spiritual thing in my Vodou. I don't know. I don't know what is the most powerful spiritual experience. I don't know. Those are not the things that I teach. What would that be relevant to what I am teaching here if I have witnessed something powerful or I have not witnessed something powerful? What is the relevancy to my teaching here? Tell me. What is the relevancy? I'm not here to tell stories. I'm not here to teach people and tell people stories that they will make them laugh and be smiling. I'm teaching practicality. If you want to experience Vodou, practice it, then you will experience it. It is not the stories that I'll tell you that it's Vodou. A lot of people just dwell on stories and they carry the story and begin to tell it as if they had witnessed it. If you want to learn, you want to experience, and you want to experience any spiritual energy, the best way is to practice it. You don't listen to hearsay or stories of people and use and assume that you had been there. Practice it, and if you experience it, then you can now talk on it authoritatively and say that, yes, I know this is this and that is that. So thank you very much, people that have asked me questions on YouTube. So let's go on to Clubhouse now, and I want to see if we are still having people who can ask me questions on Clubhouse. Are we on?
Hello.
Are we on in Clubhouse?
Good morning. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Westner. How are you?
Good and yourself, Bokor Christopher. Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you for joining.
Does the word dogwe mean anything in Ewe?
What word?
Dogwe or gwe.
A dogwe. Okay, it has a meaning in Ewe as well, but it could be called dogbe. There are certain names called dogbe and dogwe. Gwe also means a god. When I say god, I'm talking about calabash, a dogwe. Maybe there is something like that, but it sounds Ewe, dogwe. But sometimes it can also go into the word fon, the fon language. Because the fon language has a kind of relationship with Ewe, or as people say, they say they are cousins. The fon language is a bit sometimes mixture of Yoruba and Ewe and all this thing. They have their own way of listening, but we can understand some of them. Like today, I have a lot of 4 boys working in my house before coming on the program, and we've been talking together and sharing some ideas and all these things. So I speak Ewe, they speak some Ewe, they speak some Fon. I can understand some bit of that, and that's what it is. So the word Dogwe could probably be an Ewe word. It is highly, but I'm just, if it comes in a sentence, I'll be able to know the meaning. But because I don't know which sentence it is used in, I will not be able to tell you the meaning of the word, but it sounds Ewe.
Okay, thank you. Now, what about asawo?
What is it?
Asawo.
Can you spell it out for me?
ASAWO. Asawo.
Asawo? The word, there's a word called in Ewe, asawo. It could be because that's what I'm saying. If I know the sentence in which it is used, asawo.
So it's used right before songs usually in the music. You know, like the last time I mentioned Awosha Nago, and you said that was just greetings to the Nago.
Yes.
So at the beginning of the song, you might hear somebody say Asawo. You know, so I was just curious. It might be Yoruba. It could be
maybe it is Yoruba or Fo. Maybe it is Yoruba for because when we in the Ewe land we want to start a song or this thing, we either say Oseye, which is actually Akan, but the Ewes use it, or we say Ago. Then we start the song, and those who are doing Afa will say Aloya. Then the song can start, depending on which spiritual practice they are practicing. But the word asawo before a song is not something that I'm very, very familiar with.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Wesner.
Oh, I did also want to say, in a conversation I had with Senna, I found out that the word we use in Haitian Creole for chameleon it comes from your language. Agama.
Agama, yes. Agama is Ewe. People even have those names as a family names, as a surnames. Agama. Yeah. There was one time, even there was one of our governors of Bank of Ghana whose signature was one on some of the currencies in the past was called Agama, Dr. Agama. So Agama is every word for chameleon. Okay, Sena, is anybody again on the clubhouse that or in the clubhouse that wants?
If there's anybody here who would like to ask a question, please go ahead or raise your hand.
Okay, let's.
We have one person. We have one person, Papa.
Okay, please go ahead.
Abayomi. Yes.
Abayomi.
Yeah, good evening, Papa.
Good evening, Baoni.
Yeah, alafia alawa, alafia le, you know.
Alafia.
So, do you feed Abraxas with blood?
No, we don't feed Abraxas with blood. You see, the Abraxas is the Christ consciousness, which is a universal energy. And then when I say the Christ consciousness, I'm not talking about Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I'm talking about the universal enlightenment energy, which you can find in Krishna, as in the word Krishna. I don't know whether you are familiar with Hindu names. Like when they call someone Krishna Chaitanya. Krishna Chaitanya. Krishna means consciousness. Krishna means Krishna or Christ, and then Chaitanya becomes consciousness. So when they call someone the name Krishna Chaitanya, that means the person who has the consciousness of Krishna. And then the same thing in the Christianity, when they say Christ, they are talking about a person who has that consciousness, and they attributed that one to Jesus of Nazareth as being the Christ, means he has attained that Christ consciousness. And then in the same Bible, it is said that before Abraham, there was a Christ, which is called the Melchizedek, as in the American pronunciation, and we in the African pronunciation we call Melchizedek. I don't know whether you have heard that before. Have you heard Melchizedek before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and Melchizedek is said to be the Christ that was at the time of Abraham, he who has no father or mother. So at the time of Abraham, there was a Christ. That means there was a person who has actually attained that consciousness level and was able to teach and bring people closer to reality, which is God. So that Abraxas is that Christ consciousness which permeates, and it's a universal energy, and it has nothing to do with any religion whatsoever. So when we at the African Magic Temple initiates into Abraxas, what we do is to invoke that energy to dawn physically on a person that we are initiating, so that the person's doors into the psychic plane can be opened.
Okay.
Yeah. So Abraxas, we've never even given it alcohol, or I've not even done any image of Abraxas. But when you go into the internet and you look at Abraxas, it's like a horse with a chicken head. You go into this, you'll find Abraxas. It's a spirit, the Christ consciousness. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Papa.
You're welcome, Bayomi. Thank you. Okay, let me take one question from YouTube. So regardless, Teddy said, Togwe, please, are the Ga Dangbe's tribe related to the Ewe tribe? Yes, that's what our history is. That's why we are the Gbe people, the Ga Dangbe or the Gbe people, because the Ewes also are the Gbe people. So when you look at the people who use the Gbe, we are all from the same stock. That's why the Ga Adang Gbe. Say, because the Adam people speak Ewe. If they grow up, they speak Ewe, they speak Adam. We got to a point they speak Ewe. Because the Ewes and the Adams have got a very common lineage, and then also in our Gams and the Ewes migration from Nigeria, all the way from Ile-Ife coming down through Benin to coming to our modern time. It is a history that when we were young, we were taught at school about the Ayi and the Ayi Be, Ayi and the Ayi Kushi traveling, and then when they got to somewhere in Ngoche, where Ayi decided that he's not going to go forward anymore, he's going to settle down, and then the Gans who are being led by the Ayi Kushi at that time, because Ayi and Ayi Kushi were twins or something like that, but one wanted to lead his people forward, and then that's where the Ewes derived that name Ayigbe, which means Ayi has refused to go forward. Then the Gans will refer to Ewes as Ayigbe, Igbe, and people don't really understand the roots of the word. So the Gans and the Eves have a common root. If you go to Aneho today, the Homo War is still celebrated in Aneho. Even though Aneho is an Ewe land, they still celebrate Homo War. And when you go to Aneho and some of the Ewe lands, the names that Agans use here, Akoko, Akwele, Tete, Mate, and all these things are the names that they use over there too. We have a TVL off low. The monitor is off, so please. So the person I'm answering that my monitor is off for now, so let me see if I can get it. So yes, so regardless, Teddy, the Gans and the Aves, the Adangbes all have the same root. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go to Facebook and see what we can get there. Okay, go up a little bit. I think there is some question up that I haven't seen. Question left me. I want to go. Let me see if there's any question up. Okay, we answered the could that be Emmanuel. Now we come to Kukubo, God knows. Papa, finally, before I leave, the case of this Zidodo issue, I want to exactly whether the person should finish giving birth before or when he start giving birth. Papa, these questions are not to challenge you, but to educate others too. No, I'm not saying you are challenging me. I only said that my father told me that before you get a Zido or Bubujo, as it is called in my dialect, we don't even know it called Zido. We call it Bubujo, how to vanish. It's Bubujo. It's not even called Zido. Zido is more of Anglo and Southern Ewe. We don't call it Zido in our language. We call it Bubujo. Before you get that Bubujo or vanishing key to vanish, you should have children. If you don't have a child and you are initiated into those kind of spirits, you may never give birth to children. And I said that I have seen this in the life of two of my father's maternal uncles. They were very powerful. They were my grandfathers, I would say. They were so powerful, but they never had any physical children on earth. And their names remain, but they do not have children. So I'm not saying that I have gotten a Bubujo, so come and let me do it for you. That's no, I don't have it. I don't have a Zido, I don't have Bubujo, whereby you come to me and say, Papa, do it for me. I don't have it. People have it. But because my father discouraged me from it, so I never learned it. I even told my children all the time that I didn't learn that because my father discouraged me from doing so. Okay, let's move up and let's see. And then we have a Raskoma. Raskoma saying, Togbiga Akbenao. Yeah, thank you very much, Raskoma. Thank you. And then we have our brother in Lagos, Abayomi Balogun, say, hello, Papa. Do you feed a Abraxas with blood? Okay, that's what I've just explained. No, we don't feed a Abraxas with blood. And then there's a question under from Ishmael Adi saying that, Togbi, please, I want to ask if there's Togbi Zipi in the family that is left over for a long time. Can it hand the family? Yes, of course. Togbi Zipi represents a human being, a one that put the whole spirit of the whole clan or the bloodline together. And if it has been neglected for so long, it will also ask you why. And the Eves will say, Abia Holo. It will ask you why have you neglected me for so long. And it is going to ask all the people on the bloodline, that people who share the same DNA with that Togbe are the ones that is going to hunt and worry them to know why it has been so neglected for so long. Yes, it does happen, Ismail. Thank you. Then we have a tall king, Togbe Enuledo. No. Then we have Hades Yuginege. How important is imagination and visualization in Vodou? It is everything. Yugin, visualization is everything in spirituality, whichever spirituality it is. Because even people are talking about heaven and talking about angels. How many people have seen angels before? And how many people have been to heaven and come back to this earth? And people are talking about hell. How many people have been to hell and came back to tell the story? Is it not all visualization and imagination? Everything is visualization and imagination. But you see, when I say everything is visualization and imagination, your visualization and imagination should be so strong that your subconscious mind should be able to draw whatever you imagine and whatever you visualize. That is the technique of Vodou, to be able to imagine and draw with a very strong subconscious mind. Then only you can see the physical effect of the things you do. Because when I sit down here and I am doing rituals for people in the US, people, some of whom I have never met, I follow the teachings of my ancestors, and then I put the practice into this. But then I use my mind of visualization and imagination that whatever I am doing should take positive effect to overcome the challenges that the people are having before they came to me. And that should happen. And that's what I do for people. So if your imagination and your visualization is not very strong, you cannot do any spiritual work, whether Vodou or anything in the world. You will not get answers. So that's the truth. Then we have our sister Oluchi Osowonke here. Yes, Papa. I want to learn deeply, and you are doing a great, wonderful work, teaching us in truth, honesty, with peace and love. And thank you very much for all your teachings. Thank you very much, big sister Oluchi. I'm very grateful for that comment, and thank you a lot. I'm happy. May the gods of our lands continue to bless you. And then Hades Yogin again. What is the significance of mantras in manipulating of reality? Okay, mantras as in Hinduism or in Sanskrit. But then we call them besa. In Ewe, we don't call them mantra. We call them besa. Be means word, language. Sa means the words that can bind something. So in Ewe, we have besa. There are certain besa, if they tell you that go and hang yourself now, you will just run physically, go and take a leash and hang yourself. It is a besa. Somebody will just say it and then say, go and kill somebody, and you run into your room and take cutlass, and anybody you see, you will slide the person. It is not your will. It is the besa, which comes after you, making you crazy, taking your mind so that your mind cannot think normal. And then you act and do things that you would not want to do. You may do it before realizing that you have done that, and you are in trouble. But this besa and all these things are not a child's play whereby it's given to children and people in the house. This besa and all these things are usually this type of besa where you say a word and people will go haywire and helter-skelter, are supposed to be used for ajochuame be. What is ajochuame be in Ewe? A day that someone may attack you and you have no one to support and help you. Those are the days that you use this kind of words or this mantra, if you may call it that way, so that you can create a change in nature. There's a better, you take a sand from the earth and say the way and you throw it, all the sand will become bees and start biting people who want to attack you. This is the reality of Vodou. And these things are not taught just to anybody just because they have money they want to learn. They are taught to people who are really needed to be talked to, really needed to be taught, so that they use it for they use it at the times that they are in danger to create reality in nature, to bring changes in nature. So the significance of mantra, if you may call it, we don't call it mantra in our language, we call it besa. A bo. Bo. And there are besa, people can tell you, you just be walking like a mad person, you will not know how to go home. You forget your house. And there are some besa, we call it hulape. When they do it to you, when you see your house, you will be running away from your house. And you will be running away from anybody who you know physically. When you see them, you run away. Okay. This thing is low battery, so please bring my charger to charge and bring it closer to me, because otherwise the clubhouse will go. No, plug it there. Plug the phone, because it will go. Otherwise we will not be able to do anything. Okay. Okay, I think now it's charging. Okay. Senna. Me check. I mean, so well, that was a question of Yogis, Hades Yugin. I think today is your first time here. Papa? Yeah, because I'm hearing you on Telegram also. That's why I'm asking. Somebody was talking on Telegram, so that's why.
You are hearing me on Telegram.
Somebody. Who? Got in Maukwenya. Okay, no problem. It's not you. Somebody else. Okay, so that is the Workbesa. So Hidis Yugin, I think today is your first time on this program. I've now seen you before, and your questions are very, very decent. I tell you, you see your image that you put there, which is the Hermetic image of the goat, and this in the picture of the devil, as in Alistair Crowley's books and all Madame Blavatsky's books. Those things are all made to just to scare people. They are not reality. Come to Vodou and see what the reality is. Hades Yogin say, I did not answer your question. Which question did you ask? I think I've answered all your questions. But anyway, let's go up and see if I have not answered his question. No, going up. Michael Numio. I say, Hades Yugin, your last question to me was how important is imagination and visualization in Vodou? And I had explained deeply into that, unless you have not heard me. I say it is everything, and then I start to tell you how you can put imagination, and nobody has even seen heaven or hell before. It is all imagination. No one has seen God. Nobody has seen angels or golden streets or whatever, hell or whatever. It's all imagination. So in Vodou, imagination in everything. And I was saying that when I do work for people, after following the rituals that have been laid down and taught to me, I have to use my imagination to follow up, so that anything that is bothering the person and I am working for will be vanished, and it has always been working. So if visualization and imagination is everything in spirituality, move up. So if you did not hear me, I've just said it again. No, get down. There's another question from him. He said, what is the significance of mantras in manipulating reality? And then I was just telling you that we don't call it mantra, we call it besa. A besa or a bow. That's how we call it. Not like a bow in the Yoruba word, but in Ewe, a bow. But they are all spelled the same way, but the pronunciation is a little bit different, and the meaning is also different. It's not called a bow, it's called a bow, means besa, which people may call mantra in or holy words or whatever you call them. We call it besa in Ewe. So we in Ewe language we have all these things, and besa is very, 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 very important, because it is the same besa that when rain is falling and I look into the sky and I say words into the sky and the rain stops. So your words, be, is able to manipulate reality in nature. And these are things that have been proven to people. It is not like we are telling people that we have power or we don't have power. I've never been demonstrating power to anybody. But when we are confronted with situations, we try to talk with nature, and nature listens to us. It is not for us to boast or be proud to say we have power. I don't teach that in my shrine. I teach reality. And we have demonstrated reality in many, many instances in our lives and in our teachings everywhere. So, Hades, you say I have not answered your question. If you want to know about Vodou, you must practice it. And I was saying that the image of what do they call it? The goat and this hermetics or whatever image, Kabbalah. This is not real Kabbalah image, but these are books that were written by the Alistair Crowley, Madame Blavatsky, and all those people in the olden days, and they use the image and they say the devil you put there. It is all only to scare people. Those things don't come in Vodou at all. We don't use this kind of image in Vodou. When you see a Vodou, it does not have face, it doesn't have anything, but when they give it drink to kill you, it will kill you. It is not this kind of image that frightens we Vodou practitioners. It is people who don't know reality who look at these things and think that these are power. It's not any power at all. Then you answer question about visualization, but if I look up, I ask question about meditation. Okay, we don't do meditation. In Vodou, we don't do meditation. Our imagination is enough, and the words that we have to bring reality is enough. We are not going to sit down and close our eyes and say we are doing meditation and just keep sleeping and deceiving ourselves that we are traveling. We don't do that in Vodou. In Vodou, it is reality and practicality. Vodou is a reality and practicality. You need to practice Vodou to know what it is. They say the sweetness of the pudding is in the eating. If you don't eat the pudding, you will not know whether it is sweet or it's not sweet. So until you start eating the pudding, before you will know how sweet it is. So when you are outside the fence looking inside and just asking questions and talking, you will never know the reality of what you are even trying to know. It is when you get yourself involved, that is when you see whether it is real or it is not real. I have practiced everything that you have already mentioned here, and I know what they are, and I'm not interested in them because they don't show me a real picture. They are just imaginations and stories of other people who could do this, who could do that. I want me to do, not the story of other people. I want to be in charge. When I say nature should respond, I want to see nature responding. Not that, oh, this great man was able to do this, he was able to do that. I'm not interested in those kind of stories anymore. I've seen the light, I've seen the reality, and I don't use imaginations in my work. And I don't use imaginations and visualization only in my works anymore. If it does not work for me, I don't use it. Things that work for me is what I concentrate on, and that's what I teach here. I don't teach about dreams. I teach about reality and practicality. And those people who had contact and physical contact or any contact with me and learn from me, they should be the people who to testify whether what I teach is working or not. I don't just follow books and read books and then start practicing. I learn from real practical teachers, and they have demonstrated things to me before I learned. I don't read books. No. Then again, you can say, what is the person lacking in their mind that they cannot make the changes themselves in their lives? I don't know. I'm not in their minds. What they are lacking belongs to them. I don't know. I'm not them. I know what I am lacking, and I know what I can do to bring change in my life. I don't know what somebody is lacking in their mind. I'm not inside their head, and I'm not their mind, and I'm not inside their mind to know what they are lacking. Maybe you may know. Who is replying to, Hades Yogin is replying to Timeline Jumo, saying that only you know, bro. Say Hades Yogin say, Papa, when he say, I'm seeing my late mom in dream and lots of cat playing. Did we attend to that question already? Because I saw one question from him, but I did not see that question that he says seeing a lot of cats, and these are questions that had come long time ago, not today. These questions have come so many months back. So how come these questions are coming here again? That's why I came asking, why, how come? Timeline Jumo, that is what you look for. Because these questions, I have answered them many months ago. So I'm wondering where these questions are coming in here again. So that is a question. So I have not spoken about this dream before you move it up. Timeline, time Lehin, Jimo, John Jimo Aderemi say, Papa, seeing my late mom in dream and a lot of cat playing with me, is it a good dream? I cannot tell. No, let's be very realistic. Seeing cats in dream or seeing your mother in a dream, it depends on what relationship you had with your mom before she died. And then also, it also depends on what your condition was those days that you are before you go to sleep, before you are seeing your mom in your dream. Those things would determine whether you're seeing your mother in a dream is a good dream or a bad dream. You must come from the background, because if you are very emotional and you are worried and thinking, if my mom were to be here, this thing wouldn't have happened. Sometimes you can go to bed and then you have a dream about the person you are thinking about very seriously. And that could be an answer, because for me, sometimes when I am confused with a question and I don't know who to ask, and I kept wondering, who is going to, I wish that my father was here to answer. Then sometimes in my dream, I see him in my dream and he gives me the answer and tell me what to do. And when I follow the lead, I find answers to what has been bothering me. So that I know. But then I cannot tell whether it's a good dream or it's a bad dream. And then Hades Yugin was saying I didn't answer my question. So I think I have now answered your question. Yeah, that question there. This question is for Renal Idubo. Papa, all the spiritual powers, why do we not use it to control our political leaders that are seated so they can do the right thing, or those not to work on it? You forgot that your political leaders are also people of your community. Have you forgotten that? My brother, have you forgotten that your political leaders are also from your own communities? They are not outsiders. The water you drink is the same water they are drinking. The air you are breathing is the same air they are breathing. So don't forget that your political leaders are from your own communities. And it is your own communities who voted for them to be leaders. So what are you saying that to use our powers to control them? Well, you know the same people who voted for them? Don't you know them before you voted for them? That's not the work of Vodou to be using to control politicians. If after you yourself, you put a yam inside fire and you don't take care of your yam and your yam get bent and you say they should ask Vodou why your yam got bent. Who told you that Vodou has time for that? When you put the yam inside the fire, you don't know how to attend to it so that when it cooks, you can eat it. Who voted for the political leaders to be leaders? Do they just put themselves up there? Is it not the same community that they live in, that you and I, all of us live in, are the people who voted for them? The political leaders are not from outside your community, so don't think that the Vodus will go and sit them or do anything. It is you, the human beings, who will decide not to vote for them. And if you don't vote for them, they don't become leaders. If you know somebody is not good and a person is a bad person, why vote for the person? Just because he gives you some small money or at that time. This is what it is. When someone is a rogue, somebody who is not kind, and during a political campaign and the person has become an angel, and you people could not tell that this person few months ago was not a kind man. So how come is he kind now to everybody and become angel? And you people stupidly voted for them to be there. Once they assume power, they go back to their original ways, and you are wanting Vodou to go and sit them or do what? No, tell your people to vote for the correct people. That's the only way you can unseat them. Vodou doesn't have time for that. You forgot that they come from Vodou house. Yeah, so you said that before that question. So I have answered your question now, so please. Yeah, let's go on to Reina Idubo. Is there any question up? Because the way people run this thing, I don't know. Okay, then there's no question up. Let me see. Reina Idubo, again, my greetings to you, Papa. Why can't we use our spiritual power to help our African leaders, for them to do the right thing? But your African leaders are Christians. They go to church. When they ask them to swear by any Vodou, they say no, they are Christians or they are Muslim. They will not swear by that. Unless, of course, if you want to go and force them to swear by them, then maybe you'll see the truth. Before they become leaders, tell them to swear by your local deities that when they become leader, they will protect the community's purse. If you do that, and the person is bold enough to go and swear by the deity in your community, and agrees that if he should go and steal from the public purse, the deity should deal with him, then vote for such a person. Because for sure, if the person gets there and mess up, the deity will deal with them. Not just after you both voted for them finish before you ask the spiritual power to go and remove them. It does not happen that way. You can't eat your cake and have it. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's go up. We have Hidis Yugin again. I think the whole today is your questions only that we are seeing here. That's why I say I think today is your first time here. I was saying, I know with you being a monk, you meditated a lot, or they do a lot in their culture. I was wondering, did it empower you in any way? I had already spoken about that because I had been a monk for many years and I had meditated for many years. Sometimes I can even sit down 6 hours from 6 a.m. to 12 midday. I will be sitting doing meditation. I have not even seen an ant passing by. That's why I said most of these things are just imagination. People say things that they don't experience, but they want to make others to think that they are spiritually powerful. I had been there.
Today I can look into my mirror and see anywhere. I can take my crystal ball and see anything. I can use my cowries and find answers to situations that are bothering me. I had sat down many years and doing meditation and doing everything. Even I tell you right now, since I came back to Ghana, those people who had been part of this organization before I left Ghana and went to India to train and come back are still there. Some of them still they were even my seniors at that time. Only that they did not take the step to become a monk or a priest. These people sometimes are coming to me to do consultation for me to look into things. So for all these years that they had been part of this organization, what have they gained? People say they are vegetarian. When I see them, they are looking like they are looking like vegetables truly. Yeah, they don't look strong. So they are vegan, they are vegetarian. And when you see the person is a dead living thing. And they say, oh, if you are doing that, that means if you are not eating meat, then you are spiritual. Who says so? Who says that if you are not eating meat, that makes you spiritual? It doesn't make you any spiritual anywhere. It is self-deceit. You are just deceiving yourself. Spirituality is real practical, whereby if you know the secret of nature, you can talk to nature and nature will listen to you and act upon your word. Those things people are doing is just self-deceit. It's a lot of them is self-deceit. We dress up in certain ways to frighten people and make people to think that we are very spiritual. The real spiritual people don't dress up in any way. They live among the people normally. But they have the words in their mouth that has power. You don't need to put anything, cassocks or whatever, and then wear some long caps and then be frightening people, and people think that you are such a genuine person, but you are so corrupt in between your legs and you think that you are godly. Just fooling people. You know that image deceives. In Vodou, we don't need all those. We don't need all those. So me being in India is because if I had still believed that I could get the power that I wanted from where I had been, I would have stayed there. It's because I realized that it is a human institution whereby human nature plays part in it. Because, you see, the people who form religion, they were very smart people. People who brought God to us, they were very smart people. And have you ever seen God before? It is not these people who brought God to you and those who later become the leaders of the churches and the mosques and the spiritual organizations that are making the rules and organizations, making the rules and regulations for the ordinary people. How many people are checking them and knowing whether they themselves are following or they are not following? Take, for instance, Taliban, who 20 years ago were kicked out of power by the Americans. And then the Americans thought they could change the Afghan society by imposing the Western way of life. But they failed. Americans failed in Afghanistan. They had to leave. And then the same very Taliban that they fought are now back in power. And then the Taliban are going to tell the Afghanistan people or the Afghanis that this is what God said they should do. This is what God said they should do. And if you don't do it, they will punish you on behalf of God. Where did you see God coming to punish people? If God is going to punish people, it uses nature. It uses nature. It doesn't use me, you and me to go and punish people on his behalf. So religion and all these things are human institutions. And for this reason, I was looking for spirituality. I was not looking for religion. That's why when I found that where I was still a religion, I was running away from religion and I found that I ended up being in religion. That's why I left. And then I'm practicing my own tradition that I can understand everything. And it is working for me. So Hades, you again, if you want to know about Vodou practice, you must practice it. It is not the images and things that will frighten people that make anything. There is real things happening in Vodou. You may end up falling in the hands of scammers who are also saying that they are spiritualists or they are Vodou priests, who who use magic tricks and who use magic tricks to play games on people's mind so that people can think that they have power. They are also there. But you know, we at African Magic Temple, we are magicians and illusionists. I, Christopher Voncujovi, you see here, I'm one of the best magicians in Africa. But I don't use my magic, entertainment magic, to mingle with my spirituality. That's why you don't come into my shrine and I start to demonstrate magical powers or anything. The problem you bring to me when we do a reading, the reading will tell you the story yourself. It's not, you don't tell me first. The reading will tell you your own story that you have before coming. And we too will listen to it at that time. And then the reading will also give us the guideline what to do to change your situation. We are not going to demonstrate spiritual, magical secrets or what do you call it, illusions and tricks to convince you, to show you that we have power. We don't do that at our shrine. We are teaching reality. So when you are looking at things, be very clear and careful. We are not the kind of people you think we are. We are practicing the real traditional spirituality here. And it is working for us and working for people who interact with us. Move up. We have a Renal Idubo again. You are right, Papa. Thank you, Renal. I'm very grateful. And then we have Oluchu Osong. Okay, Papa, did not see an ant passing by. Peace, Papa. Yeah, of course, I have done meditation for years. You know, I started doing meditation from the age of 15. 1975. I would sit down meditating for hours. I will even go away from home and go and sit beside the river in my father's farm doing meditation. I've not seen even an ant, small ant, walking through anywhere. It's all stories. People will tell you stories that, oh, no, and I saw this in my dream and the angels came and then I saw Baba Legba at my door. For where? For where? These are all lies. But you don't go through the proper training, you will only create imagination. And you will be trying to find people to convince with that kind of imagination that you know. You don't know anything. You don't know anything. Until you go through the proper teacher who knows, who has walked the road before, you are lost. I think we have the last question there. Ashelia, Jean, hello, greetings, how are you? Thank you very, very much for joining us. I have not heard from you for long. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Then Hayden's Yugin again. How do we speak to or talk to nature? Is the words we speak? Mr. Man, bring the question. Mr. Hades Yugin, if I don't know whether you are a man or you are a woman, sorry, but when you, that's what I said, if you want to learn, come and learn. It is not something I'm going to tell you that this is what you speak to. In Vodou, you have to be initiated to be able to get the words, and when you are initiated and the words are given to you, then the words become powerful. It is not something you read in a book and start practicing. If you want to know, get involved. We don't just practice Vodou like religion, whereby you just take a Bible and start reading and think that you are King James. You are not. Or you start reading and think that you are David. They say, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Do you know what David was going through before he said that the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want? You are hungry, you don't even have bread on your table, you say, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Meanwhile, you need so much thing. Is it not stupidity? You need and you say, the Lord is my, Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You want. Stop deceiving yourself, say you don't want. Do you know what David was practicing? You think David was a Christian? Did you people think Abraham and all these people were Christians? They were not Christians. Christianity came only barely 3,000 years ago. So when David wrote in his Bible, or wrote in his poem that the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, he knew what he was talking about. And then you are hungry, you don't even have kenkey, one bowl of kenkey in your plate. Or you have a bowl of kenkey and you don't have fish. Then you are telling yourself, the Lord is my shepherd. Which shepherd? For where? Hungry man, don't read that kind of psalm or prayer. Because you say so, God will not give you. Because you say you don't want. You don't know. When you say you don't want, why should they give you? Meanwhile, you want. Who are you fooling? Yourself. Then Renal Udubo said, Papa, thanks so much for your education. Papa, what happened before the birth of human living existence? How does the spirit family trees look like? Is there awareness about it? Everybody has their own family tree. You ask your grandparents or the people who are alive to tell you how your family tree come. We all don't come from the same father. We all don't come from the same mother. So my family tree will be different from your family tree. So you must trace your family tree, and then you will get your knowing how your generation or how your ancestors came. I know my family tree to some point, and I cannot know all, but it is up to where my father was able to tell me from. That's where I know up to. So you must ask your ancestors or your elders, the people that are alive who had some contact with the ancestors before they passed on, to get their information to know what your family tree is. We all don't come from one root. I'm sorry. It is not like the Adam and Eva story in the Bible. That is not the way we Evas we look at life. There's no Adam, there's no Eva. Then we have Agbozo. Mawenyega, hello. Anaga Wezo. Do our ancestors need our worship? If yes, how do we connect with them and see their real manifestation in our life without going to a shrine? Your ancestors do not need your worshiping. It's you who need them. Your ancestors, they don't need you. It's you who need them, because they are gone. It's you who is alive and facing reality and problems here, and you are the one who need them. They are gone. They are no more here. They have passed through their problem already, and they left the body behind. They are now spirits, so they don't need your help. However, if you need their help and you want them to help you, you must find out how they can help you. If you don't want to go to a shrine, then you don't need the ancestors. Because the ancestors communicate through people who are in shrines. They don't communicate through pastors. So if you think that you want the good things from your ancestors, but then you want to pretend that you don't want to go to shrine and pretend to be a Christian, I tell you, you will never get it. Because the pastors, even themselves, are going to the shrine. How much more you? You don't want to go to the shrine, and you say you want to want ancestors to manifest in your life, but you don't want to go to shrine. Then don't go. Stay in your church. Me head me mapo. Okay, Hayden's Yugin again. I know it's real and it works, but how? I'm seeking the science behind it, the why or why it works and how to recreate it at will. You have to learn. Nobody was going to teach you any science behind anything if you don't get involved. I tell you, I won't teach you because I don't know who you are. I cannot reveal the secret of my ancestors to you just by knowing you online, and then I tell you this is what I will not teach you today, I will not teach you tomorrow. If you want to learn, find us and get involved, get initiated, then you will learn. Nobody is going to teach you anything. I must be very plain and sincere with you. I'm not going to teach you anything because we are online, that how and you want to know the science behind it. Nobody is going to teach you any science or mathematics behind it. Nothing. Because you see, when you people come on my platform and then you bring all these Hermetic and European things as if we don't have any knowledge of it. Not at my shrine. Not at my shrine. I am a very well-vested person in spirituality, not only in the Vodou of my ancestors. I've been around for a while. And the reason why I teach Vodou is because I've seen the knowledge and wisdom in Vodou, and I have also seen how it has been denigrated by Western spirituality or religion to make our people look as if they were just worshipping trees and woods and inanimate objects. Who has seen God before? And how many of you have seen any angel? If you draw angel, put a wing at their back. Who told you angels have wings? It's all self-deceit and lies. No angel has got wing. No angel has got wings. It is human being who was believing that God was behind the cloud. The early human being thought God was behind the clouds. So if God is going to send his servants, which people call angel, we call angel in Ewe language Mau Dola, the servant of God. That's how we call it in Ewe. And the human beings are thinking that because between the earth and the heavens, there's a distance. So if God will send people from there to earth, they have to fly like birds. That's why they draw wings on angels. No angel has no wing. It's a lie. I tell you. Angels are among us every day and they don't have any wing. We send them, we interact with them, God's servants, which are the spirits that we work with. They don't have any wing. They can be anywhere at any time, at will. They don't need to fly with wings. When we set gunpowder and then it burns, that alone is enough to take the energy to wherever they want to go. They don't need any wing to fly. They are already power. They are not limited by space, time, or person. They can be anywhere at any time, anywhere, anytime, any moment. You cannot limit them to anywhere. So let's stop thinking of those Western colonial things that they brought to us to make us feel that we were nobodies. The power is in Africa here. I tell you, the power is here. It's only here you can make a will and nature will respond. Move the thing up for me. We have Kenneth Boss SHQ. Hello, Papa. Hello, Kenneth. How are you? Thank you for joining. I didn't know you were also listening in. Today I am charged up because this Yugin man is trying to make us as if they know anything. They don't know anything. Danilo Imberile is saying today the fire day until you go through the proper training. Thank you, sir. Yeah, of course, if you don't go through the proper training, don't deceive yourself. You go and buy a book from bookstore and you read, and then you are now become a priest or priestess. You have a dream, then you see Baba Legba in your dream already, and then tomorrow